Yeah, it all going the right way for the smart bomb. You understand me? Do you understand me? Going the right way for the smacked button. That's what you're doing. I was about to ask something, but then I remembered the answer. What? You can hear me. Well, I would certainly hope you can. Considering I'm unmuted and I'm meant to be heard right now. Although it does say in the YouTube stereo that the audio stream's current bitrate is 0, which, if you can hear me, obviously the bitrate for the audio is not 0. So not sure why they're thinking that. Yeah, you should be able to hear me. And this is good news.
My lord, I have journeyed far to pledge my fealty to you. I have slain many a foul beast, many a geese running through. The geese were absolutely out of control. Many fell to my blade. They have those long, slender necks, pretty easy to take out. I didn't eat any of them. I don't like eating geese. It's sort of gamey. But enough about that. I'm here, and I will do whatever you want. I will kill whoever you want. I will slay whatever geese may run afoul of you. Pun intended. But enough about that. What were you saying?
I didn't say shit, man. I didn't say shit. How many geese did you kill on the way to the castle?
60, 70,000.
So...
There are no more geese in these lands, for I have taken them all out in your name. And I shouted...
In my name?
Lord Kilbington, I said. For Kilbington!
Oh, God damn it, there's an angry mob outside.
It's fucked up what he did.
Peasants?
Yeah?
I'm handling it.
You're welcome.
Oh, there we
God
go.
damn it.
Like, I feel like she's my younger sister.
She's
I'm
like,
like, what did you do?
Rise, look, guys, I'm in an anime.
I'm in an anime.
What did you do?
Whenever.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna end early here because I'm feeling a little bit sick at the moment. For
I'm
those
so
who have not
sorry.
been a little sick.
Oh
so
no, she's literally
I
talking
picked
about
my
how
nose
she's
again,
sick.
so-
She's talking about how sick she is.
Keep your mouth open. I'm almost done.
Hey, yo. Whenever, call you Loggy. What the fuck?
Wait, I still locked her? Oh no! Wait, she's gonna ban me! Just ban me, just do it, just ban me, don't even talk!
Enough about that.
Just ban me! Just ban me, just ban me, just ban me, just stop letting me suffer! She ended stream!
Do you smell it? That smell. The kind of smelly smell. The smelly smell that smells smelly.
He poisoned our water supply, burned our crops, and delivered a plague unto our houses! He did? No, but are we just gonna wait around until he does?
You as always.
Oh, hello.
We were just talking about you kids.
I'm Denise Heberly.
And I'm Bill Goodman.
Together, we've been fighting fascism for over 50 years.
And so much has changed over those 50 years, such as the ingredients to a successful firebomb.
And the glass that bank windows are made of.
But there's one thing that hasn't changed over 50 years, something that is so important to tell you kids who are new to this movement.
Shut the fuck up. You're sitting in the police transport van after a protest?
Shut the fuck up. In a holding cell with your comrades?
Shut the fuck up. Cop knocks on your door?
Shut the fuck up.
Texting on an unsecured device?
Shut the fuck up. Pulled over by the cops after a protest?
Shut the fuck up. Cop just asking about your day?
Shut the fuck up. Feds call your mom?
Tell your mother to shut the fuck up.
Now, repeat after me. When the cops come calling, what do you do?
Shut the fuck up!
hello everybody. How are we doing this fine, this fabulous, this fantastic Tuesday? I hope everyone's doing well. Let's say hi to all the people who've been chatting and people who've been gifted memberships. Festiva, Shiojo, Mixquitos, Francis Karma, and Isaac13D, Maruhime, welcome to the chat. Lovely to see you. Saper Tongue, what's going on? Cerberus, what's going on? Loknov Livok, Fallen Kyochi, Parathia, Fluffy Shirt, The True Alfarius, DJ Moneybag, Twisted Jack Teabag, Jeremy Ganthier, and Potatastic. Vegihan, how's it going? Nico Manhattan Fox, Francis Karma, Project 4061, how's it going? All the people. And Geonator, how's it going? Cringe but good advice. It is cringe, but it's also just true. Just shut the fuck up. Just like guys. I'm not trying to be rude. But if you're in a situation where the cops are all within a block radius of you, you need to shut the fuck up. I just noticed the added exposed tooth on your model. I don't think that was there before. Not only that, but we actually have a few upgrades to the model as of late. As you can see, I also have freckles. I got freckles, guys. And my ears can do this. But yeah, I got just a few upgrades in the old chamber, under the old belt, if you will. Howdy. Redhead Undead, how's it going? We are just setting things up here. So we are ready to be watching all the things that we have to react to today. Including the first thing that we're going to be actually reacting to today, chat, is a wild model. Courtney Clenney faces life. This is a fast facts from Legal Mindset. For those who don't know, there's an individual, an OnlyFans model, by the name of Courtney Clenney, who a few years ago, I believe, may or may not have violently murdered her boyfriend. We are actually going to be watching and joining Legal Mindset on the Courtney Clenney trial, which is set for sometime in April. But let's go ahead and turn off my background music, and let us go ahead and get right into it and show you guys the OnlyFans killer, as I've been calling them.
OnlyFans model Courtney Clenney is going to trial very soon in the murder case involving her boyfriend in Miami. We're going to talk about it today on The Legal Mindset, where we teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney.
Hold on, we got it already. Big Trev coming in clutch here. Well, is that Australian 20? Pops Cork? Been one hell of a crazy week. This drink's on me, Eva. Thank you so much. I'm gonna have to go and pop it open real quick. P. Heel, thank you for being a house girl for 1 month. I will be right back. Alright, I am back. And let us do this. Okay, this is a good, clean teacup from the Tea-Man. Dragon Treasures tea. You guys got me that dojo tea set, so that's what we're using. This is the first glass. It's just a normal teacup size, so it's not much. I reckon there's probably about 15 or maybe 10 glasses in this bottle. So there we go. We have her opened up, and we have her poured, and now we're going to enjoy this wine. Right, what is disputed is self-defense. Yes, I know. I was only being cheeky when I said may or may not have.
The Fast Facts video, the quick and dirty version of the latest in legal news. Now, this is a case I have been covering for years now as we've waited for this to go to trial. We finally have a trial date set for April of this year. So I wanted to give you guys a breakdown and intro. And for those that don't know about the craziness of this case, to walk through all the background for you. So let's get into it. So first of all, here you have Courtney Clenney, also known as Courtney Taylor. You can see her on the left in prison, in the right, and some of her content that she
Well, that is a stark difference. I think I'm looking at two different people here. Guys, seriously. I mean, maybe it's just I guess the other camera's just too far away, but like, the eye color doesn't even look the same. This is weird.
put out there. Obviously, there's a little bit of a difference between when you're locked up and when you're putting on filters and makeup, but she is the defendant in this case.
That was her in fucking... That looked like her, maybe her, like an arraignment or some kind of pretrial thing, and she was literally sticking her tongue out in front of the camera. When will Eva release the Keebler files? Never! Never. The Keebler files are actually a combination Democrat and Republican hoax. They're trying to take me down. It is fake news.
The victim here is Christian Toby Ombumseli. He was the boyfriend at the time of Courtney Clenney. Of course, on and off, there's a lot of drama in that relationship, very toxic. And we're going to look into the circumstances behind that murder and how that happened. So Courtney Clenney Taylor was obviously a Instagram and OnlyFans content creator. She'd been doing that pretty much full time. And in April 2022, she fatally stabbed her boyfriend, Christian Toby Ombumseli, in their luxury Miami apartment, One Paradiso. And Courtney Clenney is charged with second-degree murder, which is...
Okay, so... God, you know, I hate that they do this. I understand why they do this. Because first-degree murder is a lot higher standard to prove. It's a much harder conviction to obtain for a prosecutor. But, like, trust me, when you see the facts of the case and some of the video evidence that we have, you're gonna kind of be like, you know what, the prosecutor should have went for murder one. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
A 30-year max sentence. Now, this does not require premeditation that separates it from first-degree murder in Florida, but it does require a quote-unquote depraved mind. So the prosecution has a burden to prove in this case.
Yeah, well, they might have a burden to prove, but you have to get back up on here, bro. You're not doing what you should be. The VTube studio, and then the Courtney Clenney. And then let me go to here so I can open up chat. It looks like I accidentally closed my chat out. And let me bring chat back up because I need to keep track of super chats and stuff. Like this one. There we go. Big Trev, the first glass of wine. The mini, honestly, like people go mega pint. This is actually a mini pint. The first mini pint has been drinking. Alright, let me do this. Bada bing. And I think we're good.
Now, going into the timeline to give you guys some background, they started dating in 2020. And when they started dating...
Did you seriously do that to me again?
It quickly became dramatic, and quickly there were incidents flaring up. In July 21, Clenney was arrested in Vegas over alleged domestic battery against Ombumseli. And then in February 2022, we had elevator footage showing Clenney slapping and hitting Ombumseli. I'm going to pull that up for you guys right now. Now, this video is silent, but it's pretty clear what's going on here.
Oh, yeah. This is pretty, First of all, she's immediately Hassan levels of crash out. Her boyfriend hasn't even walked through yet. She is fucking crashing out because the elevator isn't yielding to her immediately. This is gonna go great. Yeah, hey, calm down. Oh, there it is. Contact, contact, contact. More contact.
You can see throughout the video pretty much this same behavior of her attacking him.
Okay. Ha, ha, ha. He got her. He got her in like a little headlock here just to keep her like limited in where she can strike. Holy crap.
In the elevator. Mind you, this is only months before the incident went down. So the prosecution will clearly use that evidence of the elevator video and other video that's out there involving these two having
awesome,
really
they clearly they didn't have a good relationship, and any level of physicality on either side is unacceptable.
aggressive relationship. If you look at the interactions between the two, they were always very, very high drama, very, very high tension. And there's a lot of that supported by the video evidence and audio evidence in this case. So that led up to the day of the stabbing. So let's get to that. So on April 3rd, 2022, the day really started peacefully. They were playing with their dogs. There wasn't really much to say. 1:15 p.m., Obenselli leaves. He takes the dogs with him. Clenney does an Instagram Live, which was right before this. And then 4:32 p.m., Obenselli returns with Subway. So he's got the Subway sandwiches. And then the neighbors call sometime after that, but before the 911 call. The neighbor calls 911 to report a domestic disturbance. They obviously hear something going on in their apartment. And then by 4...
Okay, so... Like, the timeline here is important. It's important in any kind of murder case, right? Most crimes it's important, but... 4:32 to 4:57 p.m. That is 25 minutes, chat. The better part... 90% of half an hour. What the fuck were you doing in that half hour? Is my question.
50.
Domestic plate strikes again. No.
7. Clenney calls 911 claiming her boyfriend is dying and bleeding. When they come, the police come, they find her holding him and they pronounce him dead on the spot from that stab wound. So that brings us over to the arrest and the defense. So in August 22nd, Clenney was arrested in Hawaii. Her family was out there, so she was with them at the time.
Okay, so it looks like she was extradited to Florida from Hawaii. They picked her up during her family's vacation. That's frankly amazing. Like, you could not get better than that.
And she was...
Oh, you thought you're having fun on your vacation that you used... but she probably paid for a majority of that vacation with her OnlyFans money and stuff like that. So honestly, very, very, it's almost universally karmatic for her to get arrested during her island getaway with her family and sent back to Florida. Nah, you're gonna have to deal with this now, bitch.
Extradited to Florida. Clenney is claiming self-defense. So she's saying this was self-defense.
I mean, of course. Of course it's going to be self-defense. That's the... I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't also try to establish a prior pattern of abuse to try to say, like, battered spouse syndrome or something.
And that saying that she also threw the knife. So saying they were in, a back and forth, and in self-defense, she threw a knife at him. Now, there's a lot of factual dispute on this.
No, her daddy probably paid. Okay. But this was during a time, I guess, she was under investigation, and she was told by investigators not to leave the state, and she did anyway. So what happened then is it probably just triggered that, okay, go get her, go extradite her from Hawaii to Florida, we're going to have to do this the hard way.
She claims she threw it from 10 feet away, a very kind of Olympic-level throw there, but...
Okay, let's see here. Okay. This isn't going to mean much. Right? But like, let me show you something here. Okay, 10 feet away. Let me give you guys a good visual representation of just how far away 10 feet is. Just give me a second here. Here we go. Images. That's 6. I need 10. Come on, stop being retarded. Guys, I get COVID ruined everything, but like, come on. Man, I can't find anything. 5 Eva. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Well, 5, 10, 15, 20. 4 Evas. No, no, no. 2 Evas. It'd be 2 Evas. Like, I can't even find something, like, similar, but, like... Okay, you know what? This is my best thing. So, has anyone seen... I got something here. Let's see here. Hatchet throwing arcade game. There it is. Hi, chat. This game right here. That's about 5 feet. Right there, okay? That's about 5 feet. Double that fucking distance. This woman is saying she managed to drive a knife thrown from across the room, double this distance, and injure the man by puncturing 3 inches into him. In fact, I believe Legal Mindset brings it up. Yep, defense found an expert to throw a knife at a pig carcass from 5 to 6 feet away. So apparently an expert was able to recreate the wounds, but only at half the distance of what Courtney Clenney is claiming she was able to do.
Police found this.
Yeah, no, like, look, guys, have you ever seen the Ragnar? Here. Look at this.
Did you catch that on camera? Hey, I'm Alexander Ludwig.
Yeah, this is the guy who plays one of the Viking peoples. I think that's Bjorn. But like literally, like these guys even, they're trained to do it. They do it overhand, both hand, and it's like you're not Ragnar Lothbrok, the fucking Viking. It's not happening.
This 3-inch stab wound, this fatal 3-inch stab wound, and they said it's really consistent with downward thrust. And initially, all the experts were looking at that and saying, yeah, from 10 feet away, it's really not possible to have that deep of a wound in somebody with a knife of that size. However, the defense more recently has found an expert to throw a knife at a pig carcass from 5 to 6 feet away. So not 10 feet, but 5 to 6 feet, and produce a similar wound. So that's kind of going to be a battle of the experts at this court is, well, did she stab? Did she throw? What happened in this case? Is that possible? Now, this has become even more dramatic as her courtroom behavior has gotten really interesting in this case. She's been seen sticking her tongue out and blowing kisses to people in the audience, and she's very aware of the cameras in the courtroom, even during her motion hearings.
Oh my God.
The video of her sticking her tongue out.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Guys, anyone who's attending these hearings, you cannot fix her. Don't try. She murdered her fucking boyfriend over Subway. I guarantee you, he got the Subway order wrong. It wasn't vegan enough, and she fucking killed him for it. No, that was a joke for legal reasons.
And the photos from that are from a recent motion hearing. She also was joking about taking boyfriend applications during this. So she obviously is playing around with this, maybe not taking this as seriously as she should. So it's going to be a very, very interesting to see her at trial.
She's going to be very
So coming to my judgment here, the trial has been delayed a lot due to motions, evidence disputes.
Like, chat, we were supposed to, I think it was February. Like, it was, at first, I think it was October or November of last year that, like, the trial was supposed to start, and then that was delayed again until February, and then it was delayed again until April. So, allegedly, apparently, we're going to have trial start April 27th, 2026. So, the end of next month. We'll have to see.
Problems with the evidence and attempts to disqualify prosecutors. The trial is set for April 27, 2026, and estimates are it's going to be less than 2.
Oh yeah, no, Sapertai actually brings up a good point here. It is a self-defense claim. The defendant is usually expected to testify. I'm going to correct that and say usually required to testify. It's one of the defenses that require you to understand the state of mind of the accused at the time. So the only way you're really going to do that, especially in front of a jury, is if you get them on stand. So yes, you're completely right, Sapertall. When it comes to self-defense claims, the accused absolutely needs to testify in those cases. Her dad is her biggest fan. Uh-oh.
2 weeks total. The defense does have a lot of work to do. They're trying to claim self-defense as well as alleged prior abuse, so saying that Christian...
Boom, there it is. Oh, there it is. Alleged prior abuse, like with Sarah Boone. Oh, guys, this is the battered spouse syndrome. I swear to God, if we get the boomer lawyer from Sarah Boone acting as defense, I would laugh. So fucking... It's also in Florida, remember that.
The boyfriend was in prior instances abusive, and they've produced some audio that they claim that backs that up.
I'm scared. I'm scared of him.
Our boyfriend comes charging towards her, and we actually try to get in the middle of it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I had a lot of opportunities to call y'all, and I did not. And I want him. Okay, the police are here. I want a restraining order against Christian Gonzalez.
We don't issue those.
Because, no, I'm serious. Can I do that? Where can I go to court? Right now, like, I have not always been a victim, but like right now, I'm a freaking victim in the situation. I'm scared to go to. I'm scared to walk my dogs. I just walked in.
We just I'm
scared. I'm scared of him.
However, the prosecution.
Yeah, that hand patting the chest like that. That is not a sincere motion. It's almost like it's like you're subconsciously trying to get your heart rate to increase on pattern with your hand to freak yourself out so you can appear more scared than you actually are. But a little bit of body language reading here, I'm going to tell you right now. If you see somebody going, oh my God, I'm so scared, and they're like, they give you that face, and they're doing that over their heart. Yeah, it's a performance. Yeah, it's absolutely a performance.
Has a lot on their side of Clenney's aggressive history. We saw the elevator video, and there's other video of her being abusive and engaging in abusive behavior and engaging in aggressive behavior. So we've seen that in the past, and the prosecution is certainly going to highlight that. But either way, Courtney Clenney is certainly a performer, and she is going to be lively at trials. This is a trial that probably will not be boring when it comes to Courtney Clenney. And mind you, since it's self-defense, she will likely have to get on the stand and testify to that. So this is a case in which we are actually going to have the defendant on the stand. So I'm going to be covering this one and looking forward to this. I hope you all are too. I will catch you on the next one.
Very, 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 very nice. And look at that. We were able to stop it before autoplay resumed and ruined our lives. So next one we have, I was thinking between, it's going to be NateTheLawyer. But next one I was thinking, let's see here. Him getting beat was stressful for her and caused PTSD. Yeah, no, obviously. But I think we're gonna do DEI judge convicted jailed 3 times, declared unfit for office, and decides to cry racism. This is posted by our buddy NateTheLawyer, over on his channel 3 days ago, so let's check it out.
This is Judge Leticia Astacio, and the reason why this judge is in handcuffs is an insane saga.
I'm so concerned about her.
It was a Saturday morning in February of 2016. Judge Leticia Astacio was found on the side of 490 with 2 flat tires. She would be arrested for DWI.
Every time Eva verbally stumbles, take a drink. First of all, no. But every time I verbally stumble, you're welcome to super chat me to refill my glass, which is now empty.
In your presentation.
Oh, darn it! It did the thing, Jet. Chad, it did the thing.
Did I hear one word of remorse or contrition for the acts that you were found guilty of?
She spent 60 days in jail.
After getting out of jail, Rochester City Court Judge Leticia Astacio is accused of violating her probation.
She missed a court-ordered alcohol test because she was halfway around the world in Thailand. That was probably the most negative factor we had, and we knew that going in.
Oh my god, look, no.
In Thailand. That was
Look. Oh my god, there she is in Thailand with a fucking drink in her hand when she's not supposed to be drinking via fucking court order. She's on probation, guys. She left the country to Thailand to drink. That's not 1 but 2 probation violations, I'm sure. She wasn't allowed to leave the fucking country while on probation.
probably the most negative factor we had, and we knew that.
Nice! Why is everyone going to Thailand?
Going into this.
The Rochester City judge convicted of drunk driving, then locked up in jail for not following the terms of her sentence, will stay behind bars.
New York's highest court has stripped Rochester City Court Judge Leticia Astacio of her judgeship, effective immediately.
This story is pretty crazy.
That's what I'm wondering, Ravenfire.
You have seen conversations happening online lately. Censorship is back. It's happening everywhere. Platforms are controlling the narratives and pushing stuff they want you to see. We need to fight back. Now, if you don't remember, Rumble is the only company that stood the test of time against this type of censorship, and they deserve our support. On one side, Rumble is challenging big tech censorship. On the other side, they have introduced something that will give us protection from the big banks shutting us off. See, banks can cancel your credit cards or close your accounts. So that's why they launched Rumble Wallet, a wallet that no one can cancel, and a wallet that supporters can use to instantly tip creators like myself without any middleman taking cuts. With Rumble Wallet, you can...
Shit, I might actually try and get on Rumble and Rumble Wallet if they have a tipping system that doesn't fucking make use of any of the other payment processors, and they're bullshit. My chatters know my first Ko-Fi account was banned, and I still really don't know why.
Control your money. Not a bank, not a government, not a tech company, not even Rumble can touch it. It's yours, only yours to protect your future and family. You can buy and save digital assets like Bitcoin, Tether Gold, and now the new USAT, Tether USA, a regulated stable coin in one place. Tether Gold is real gold on the blockchain with ownership in physical gold bars. USAT keeps your money steady against inflation, no banks needed. It's not only a wallet to buy and save, but it also allows you to support your favorite creators by easily tipping them with the click of a button. There is no fees when you tip my channel or others, and we actually receive the tips instantly, unlike other platforms where we have to wait for payouts. Support my show and others by clicking the tip button on my Rumble channel. It's wallet.rumble.com. Or you can download the Rumble wallet today, open an account, and step away from the big banks for good. Wallet.rumble.com or search Rumble Wallet in the App Store. Thanks to Rumble Wallet for sponsoring this video.
Nice.
All right, let me introduce you to Judge Leticia Astacio from New York. Now, before becoming a judge, she was an assistant district attorney, and not just any assistant district attorney. She was part of the drunk driving bureau in Monroe County. Her entire job was...
Look, everyone just calm the fuck down. A bunch of people in chat just heard the term blockchain and shut their brains off like cavemen. The blockchain is based on gold. This isn't fiat currency. This isn't even Bitcoin. This isn't any cryptocurrency you've seen before, because the value is reflected in a physical valuable metal, aka gold. Now, I will look into it. I am, of course, also naturally suspicious, but the word blockchain shouldn't immediately cause you to fucking start foaming at the mouth. That's crazy.
Prosecuting people for DUIs. Then she runs for judge and becomes a judge in that same division, sentencing people for driving.
Look, I trust the standard of precious metals and shit like that far more than the current fiat currency we have. For those who don't know, since the 1970s, we've been under what's known as a fiat currency, which means that there is no actual resource that reflects the value that the value of our currency is based on. The value of our currency is what the government says it is. That's the definition of fiat currency. And before 1972, I think it was, we used to have a gold standard-based economy. So, if I were to look into blockchains for any reason, the only blockchain I would even think of looking at is one whose value is represented in gold. That's physical value.
Under the influence. Now, I need you to keep all that in mind because in February 2016, state troopers pulled over a car about 8 in the morning because it looked like it had been in an accident.
New York state troopers, they must pull over hundreds of people every year on suspicion of DUI and DWI related offenses. When they pulled over one woman on her way to work around 8 in the morning, though, it was because her car looked a little suspicious. It had clearly been involved in an accident. This woman was no stranger to the legal system. She's a Rochester City Court judge, Leticia Astacio. She was on her way to work, was a former district attorney known for prosecuting DUIs, became a judge.
Oh
and,
my God,
you
no
know,
way, no. Are you seriously telling me that the judge who was pulled over and arrested for a DUI is a judge overseeing DUI cases? That's fucking crazy.
Then moved on to sentencing those involved in DUIs and DWIs. She was a part of the Drunk Driving Bureau of Monroe County before becoming a Rochester City, New York judge.
Understand this story. We have a...
I love that. Understand what exactly is happening. No, it's pretty, yeah. Yeah, no, this is crazy. This would be like a family court judge, like, committing DA against their partner and losing custody of the children. Like, this doesn't normally happen.
Judge who was allegedly driving drunk at 8 in the morning to go and judge other people who have also been caught driving drunk. So this became a problem for this judge. So it's a drunk driving beef. The judge goes to trial, doesn't cut a deal, and is convicted of drunk driving. As you can see here, Rochester Judge Astacio found guilty on DWI charge. Now, even though she had been found guilty, they couldn't remove her from her position, and she was still going to collect her salary of about $170,000 a year.
A Rochester City Court judge convicted of DWI has been removed from all legal responsibilities, but will continue to collect her $174,000 paycheck.
Now, as you just heard, the judge was on probation, and there are conditions to that probation.
In August, after a one-day bench trial, she was convicted. Her sentence, a 1-year conditional discharge. The conditions, no drinking, and an interlock device on her car.
All right, so...
Oh, she got a breathalyzer. So she got a breathalyzer installed on her car. Okay. So a year of no drinking, which means mandatory occasional coming in, checking in with your probation officer and making sure, like, there's a whole process and it depends on the state. But, like, it's very much like, yeah, once a week you go here, you take your test, you fucking, it's annoying, but, honestly, only having a year of it is kind of nice, considering what she could have gotten. Geez, that's not fair, they make it that much. I've heard of longer, Ravenfire.
1 year without drinking. You would think the former DWI district attorney and current DWI judge would easily be able to stop drinking for a year, especially since she's been ordered to by the court.
By October, she faced allegations that she violated probation. In November, Astacio admitted to drinking alcohol and trying to start her car.
Her attorney confirms that 3 days after that tearful admission, she attended a family party where a drinking game was being played. He confirms Facebook photos that have since been taken down show her holding a small red plastic cup in one hand and a lemon slice in another. There's a...
Dude, okay, like, at a point we gotta start asking questions. Like, is this bitch actually alcoholic? Can you not go any amount? Is your family alcoholic? What the hell is happening?
Bottle of tequila that can be seen on the table.
Okay, so the judge is human. She made a mistake. It's not like...
Okay, well, the judge is human, but the judge is also, like, flagrantly, completely ignoring the terms of her probation. There's making a mistake and falling off the wagon, and then there's going to a drinking party with your family and posting pictures of it online 3 days after you fucking admitted to doing it in the first place.
It's going to happen again.
By January 2017, new allegations of an intoxicated Astacio and a confrontation with mall security. In May, an arrest warrant issued after Astacio fails to show for a court appearance. Her attorney tells the court she's in Thailand.
After she was convicted of drunk driving last year,
she's just in Thailand now. How did she end up in Thailand? How did this happen? How was she not, like, tripped on the system as soon as you fucking scan her ID?
condition of her release was no drinking, but she'd gone off to Thailand and only came back after a warrant was issued for her arrest.
So she comes back from Thailand, and the judge in her case has had it and says, hey, you got to do 60 days in jail because you're not taking this seriously.
My children don't... it's probably just a contempt of court. You know, I'm sorry, but this is criminal contempt. You flagrantly ignored me, and then you left the fucking country. I'm sorry, but 1, 60 days in jail, and 2, I don't think we're going to be giving you a bail or a bond or anymore. Like, you're now an actual proven flight risk. You know how I know? We put you on probation, and you flew to Thailand.
Deserve this. Watching my daughter, while being in a jail cell, tell a reporter that it's her fault that I'm in jail is one of the most hurtful things I've ever seen in my entire life.
After a month in jail, Judge Leticia Astacio gave an emotional statement asking for a light sentence. She told Judge Stephen Aronson she's been brutalized in the media and seen her family traumatized.
In the most respectful possible way, I'm in jail.
Find me a river that'll pair with your liver as I drink your blood in Minecraft.
Cannot punish me any more than it has. My reputation cannot be any more tarnished than it has been.
Punished for being a good mother. You are not being punished for having people in this community support you. Nowhere in your presentation did I hear one word of remorse. I deal with people who avoid the system. And you are giving me all indications that you're avoiding the system.
Aronson sentenced Astacio to the maximum, 60 days in jail, plus 3 years probation with a monitoring bracelet for any drinking.
So now our drunk driving judge says, well, listen, I don't want to do 3 years probation. Give me straight jail time and let me be done with it. But the presiding judge said, no, I'm denying that. You're going to have to do probation.
Astacio's lawyers said she can't handle probation, will certainly violate it, and would rather serve a straight jail sentence. But the judge denied that.
She'll now be sentenced to probation. She's indicated that she's...
Okay, honestly, the judge should have just thrown her in jail for 3 years then. Because here's what's going to happen. You put her on probation for 3 years. She breaks probation, she gets arrested for breaking probation. So frankly, like she said, if she knows she's not gonna be able to handle probation, then just give her the jail time instead.
It's not likely to be compliant with that probation, so unfortunately we're probably not done yet.
Now, the judge does her 60 days and gets out of jail. And the next day, the next
Oh my
day...
God, okay. It's one thing if it's like, okay, a week or two later. It's the next day after she's out of jail? Right, oh, come on.
Hey, there's a violation.
Part of her probation, Judge Astacio has to wear an alcohol monitoring bracelet around her ankle. It's called a scram device. The prosecutor told me today that the monitor registered a positive test for alcohol on July 14th.
That is so fast. That is, were you testing to see the accuracy of the monitor? Because trust me, those things are pretty damn accurate.
That is the day after Judge Astacio got out of jail.
The next month, new allegations of violations. Astacio sent to jail twice for leaving the county to go to Del Lago Casino, then refusing to wear the alcohol monitoring device. She once again addresses the media.
Dude, she is just drowning in sin. Alcohol, gambling, probably smoking. I mean, like, literally. This ex-judge is just... Look at this one. Look, she is literally covering her face because she knows this is a bad situation.
After her release.
There's plenty of stuff that I would have loved to be in the news for that I did that I think was newsworthy that never made it. It sucks to be famous for this.
Now, the crazy part about this is she's still getting paid as a judge while all this is happening. And then you think all those probation violations were crazy. Then we have the shotgun issue.
No one questions
What? The shotgun issue? Did you just say the shotgun issue?
Facts here that Leticia Astacio tried to buy a shotgun at Dick's Sporting Goods.
So I'm gonna let most people know right now. Most of the time, when it comes to probation, I'm sorry, I'm just trying not to fucking lose it here. A common condition of probation and parole and shit like that is you're not allowed to own a gun. You're not allowed to purchase firearms. You're not allowed to do any of that. And frankly, the fact that she walked into a Dick's Sporting Goods to try and buy a fucking shotgun, she really, I mean, this is just surprising, especially given she is a judge.
And that her probation rules linked to her DWI conviction forbid her from buying a firearm. So buying a shotgun would break those rules and justify a felony charge if a shotgun is a firearm. But Astacio's attorney points to the Penal Code's definition of a firearm, and a regular length shotgun is not included. It has a separate definition, meaning to Mark Foti, Astacio was allowed to purchase that shotgun.
Okay, that is really splitting hairs in the wall. I'm sorry, but a shotgun is a firearm by the federal standard of the definition. At one point we're going, okay, fine, you want to contest the definition of what makes a fucking firearm? Then we're going above state, and now we're going to federal because fuck you.
And the felony charge is baseless.
If she's going to be convicted of something like that, it really should be based on legitimate evidence and a legitimate understanding of the law, which our position is, if you read the law, it's just completely inconsistent.
So she was charged in that case, and I'm going to give you 2 seconds to figure out what the jury did. Do you think the jury came back and said she was guilty of trying to buy a firearm while on probation, or do you think the jury said she's not guilty? Here's the answer.
Not guilty. That's what a Syracuse jury decided for.
Oh. Okay, well, color me surprised. Actually, color me surprised.
Former Rochester City Court Judge Leticia Astacio. Astacio was arrested last spring after deputies claimed she broke the law by trying to buy a shotgun while on probation following her drunk driving conviction in 2016.
We knew this was the right result all along, but to finally have it happen is an extraordinary experience. This charge that exists is perfectly appropriate.
It must be the state's definition of firearm must exclude shotguns and long-barreled rifles in a way that it's technically classified differently in their state charter. which means that, technically speaking, by the letter of the law on the state level, she was not attempting to purchase a firearm. She was trying to purchase whatever the fuck a shotgun and other long barrel rifles are classified under. She got off on a technicality, and the jury sided with her.
For people who are trying to get a gun through a straw purchaser or lying on a form, but she never even got a form. I mean, what they were trying to do was prosecute somebody that didn't even fill out paperwork. And as far as we know, nobody's ever been prosecuted under that theory before. So for the jury to acquit was the right thing.
So now, this was very important because if the judge was convicted on this felony charge, she would lose her law license and she would lose her job on the bench. But since she was not convicted and the conviction she does have is a misdemeanor, then she can keep her job and keep her law license. But the state judiciary said, hold on, this person obviously isn't qualified to be a judge. She can't stop drinking. She can't finish through with her misdemeanor probation. So they decided to remove her from the bench.
It appears a long chapter in the saga of Leticia Astacio has come to a close. Today, Judge Astacio is no longer a judge. The New York State Court of Appeals decided to uphold the Commission on Judicial Conduct's decision, removing her from the Rochester City Court bench.
The New York State Court of Appeals' decision to remove Leticia Astacio from the bench cited not just her initial DWI, but her behavior in the 2.5 years following, saying, quote,
just walked in. So what I did is I set up a goal. And what happens is every $20 super chat, I fill this up and I drink. It's about, they all know. I could probably drink the bottle. It's not a big bottle. It's not even let's see. Okay, not drinking 5 of them, bud. Let's see here. Is it not telling me? What the fuck? It's so light. Okay, 9%. It's not bad. Here, get a glass or something. Sorry about that, chat. Okay, let's search him. Oh, what the fuck do you want to eat? You honestly, at this point, you should be surprised. I mean, you should be prepared. This is what I want to eat. I know. I can make some of those popcorn chicken thing in the air fryer. I don't want to use the stove. The next meal I cook on a stove, I want to be on that stove. Yeah, I don't want to use that stove again. I got chicken in the freezer. I've got popcorn chicken and ranch. I also bought more sandwich meat. He's figuring it out, chap. And here we see the Papa Elfpire in his natural habitat. You want some hot dogs? Okay. Hot dogs and what? Oh, yeah. Okay. $2. Thank you for the $2 super chat, Baked Buddhist. I'm not as think as you drunk I am. I'm not that drunk yet. Alright, here. I'm going to switch over to speakers so I can hear. And I'm going to set those hot dogs up for Papa Elfpire.
Here, the circumstances spanning petitioner's collective misconduct qualify as egregious. Specifically, petitioner's judicial role exacerbated her already very serious crime of driving while intoxicated and undermined effectiveness as a judge, responsible for applying drunk driving laws to others. The decision referenced a pattern of behavior, quote, "We are unpersuaded that petitioner has genuinely accepted personal responsibility. To the contrary, she continues to point to external factors and justifications as excuses for her behavior." So former Judge Astacio, despite not overseeing cases for quite some time now, was still receiving a taxpayer-funded salary of more than $180,000. We are told that that stopped today and that because of their pay periods, she actually owes a day's pay back to the state.
Now think about this. In February 2016, this judge was arrested for the first time on a DWI, convicted of a misdemeanor. From that, she was arrested a total of 3 times, faced 4 alleged probation violations, and was jailed 3 separate times, and turned a 1-year probation and conditional discharge into a 3-year-long saga. So at the end of the day, let me know how you feel about this story, because I thought this was insane. How many times she just got arrested, she's gone through how many criminal trials, and how long it took her to get kicked off the bench so the taxpayers wouldn't have to fund her lifestyle. Now, I want to make it very clear, just because she was removed from the bench doesn't mean she was removed from practicing law. She still has her law license, and she is still representing clients.
Leticia Astacio is back to work. This is her first murder case.
Oh my God, she's still practicing as a lawyer. That is crazy. That's actually crazy.
Since she was found not guilty of violating the terms of her probation back in April. That verdict allowed her to keep her law license, and now she is the new counsel for Nashim Burton, who's been charged with murder and robbery. Astacio said this morning, defending Burton goes to her passion for practicing law.
Oh yeah, and she also tried to run for city council.
Former Rochester City Court Judge Leticia Astacio made it official today in an exclusive interview with News 8. She is running for Rochester City Council. The State Judicial Conduct Commission removed Astacio from the bench after years of controversy, beginning with a drunk driving arrest in 2016. She even spent time in jail.
Now, you would think that's the end of the story. But after all that, she had another probation violation and was sentenced to 6 months in jail.
Astacio represented herself in the courtroom today. At the hearing, Astacio pleaded guilty to one of 3 pending possible probation violations. She was hoping the judge would grant her time served.
Alright. I am back. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, we're back. I just fed my Papa Elfpire hot dogs.
The judicial system does not function to break people, and it is destroying me. Irrespective of what I look like when I come into court, whether I'm smiling and happy and...
I just saw, did I miss? I did. Cerberus, thank you so much for the 20. Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not, because the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. I'm assuming that's a song. Thank you very much. Boom, we'll do that. I'm not as sick as you drunk I am. I've already done that one. Chat mark that one. Okay. So, second glass being poured right now. Boom, there we go. It's poured, and I won't start drinking that until the next video.
This is difficult.
How are the hot dogs prepared via the air fryer?
Every day.
The assistant district attorney requested jail time as a sentence. Astacio says she was, quote, blindsided by the jail time request. And the judge let Astacio know exactly what was on her mind.
It stops today, and it stops now. I'm revoking your probation, and I'm resentencing you to 180 days in jail, starting now.
The judge and assistant DA say after Astacio serves the 180 days in jail, there will be no more probation or further restrictions.
So for a misdemeanor, she essentially had 4 years of probation and did 6 months in jail. If she would have gotten the max for the misdemeanor originally, she would have been done with that in 1 year. But this thing dragged out for like 4 or 5 years. It shows you how bad the system could be, especially for probation. It would have probably been better if she didn't take probation. But as a
okay, that's kind of what I'm saying, is like the judge, because she said herself, she's not going to be able to handle abiding by the terms of the probation. Just give her 3 years jail time. Okay, you know what? Honestly, fine, because if you're going to flagrantly disobey the conditions of the probation that I've set out for you, then yeah, obviously I can save myself and the prosecution and the state and everybody else so much more time and less of a headache if I just throw you in jail for the 3 years you want to be in jail. Like, come on.
Always tell me where I'm wrong in the comment section. Tell me if you feel for this judge, because this whole story is madness and she is still practicing law, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's why you shouldn't feel bad for her. Don't worry, she's doing just fine. Good, great video. I'm going to BRB real quick. I'm just setting up a couple other things here. But this time I'm actually going to do my BRB screen. So I'll be right back. And then we will move on to, everybody, you wouldn't believe it, but we actually have an update on the Super Mayor. I'm sure those who know, the temp Super Mayor know exactly who I'm talking about. Chad. Alright, Chad, I'm so sorry. My gosh, Chad. Chad! Alright, I'm back and I should be back for good. And let me make sure that there's no missed super chats or anything. We have, quickly, we're gonna run right into the next video. I sadly had to do a quick little IRL meeting, something that I usually have taken care of, before I start stream, but, not today for some reason. That's okay though. Next video that we're gonna be reacting to is once again another Nate the Lawyer episode. Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard runs for office in Georgia as a MAGA Republican. You heard me. You heard me right. The Super Mayor, Tiffany Henyard, who flew from the state that she freaking ruined, went to Georgia and is now running for office in Georgia. She's not done, chat. You thought she was done? She's not. Let's see what's going on.
Breaking news, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution reports Tiffany Henyard, a Republican business owner, has qualified to run for District 5 Commissioner seat and will be on the ballot.
Well, WJN Investigates has learned Tiffany Henyard is not done with politics just...
There's no... How? As a MAGA, yeah, apparently as a Republican.
Yet, the former South suburban politician has moved to Georgia and appears to be running for...
All right, you know what? That announcement by itself is worth a sip from this glass that I poured. I haven't had from yet. Yeah, the devil went down to Georgia. She was looking for a soul to steal.
Office there.
Let's talk about it. Now, here's a quick word from this video sponsor, HelloFresh. You've probably heard of HelloFresh. Nice. They've been delivering the chef-crafted recipes and fresh ingredients for years. But this fall, they've leveled up. This isn't the HelloFresh you remember. Now, it's bigger with double the menu. That's up to 100 options each week, from seasonal dishes.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of been thinking about HelloFresh. Especially with us having a new stove. Like, we actually have a proper full-size stove and oven now. It's not installed yet. We are waiting on a piece to come in. But when that comes in, I might seriously look into doing something like that.
Is 2 flavors from around the world, plus bigger portions to keep everyone full. It's healthier with high protein and veggie packed recipes. We're talking 2 or more veggies per dish, so you can feel good about what's on the table. It's also tastier. Steaks and seafood every week at no extra cost, with 3 times more seafood than before. And every week there's fresh seasonal produce, snap peas, stone fruit, corn on the cob, delivered right to your door. Now, before doing this ad read, I ordered some food from HelloFresh and tried it, and I'm gonna say it was amazing. The dinner was quick, easy, and a lot better than takeout, and a lot healthier too. Now, the best way to cook just got better. Go to HelloFresh.com/NateTheLawyer10FM, or you can scan the QR code on the screen to get 10 free meals plus a free item for life. 1 per box with an active subscription. Free meals apply as a discount on your first box. New subscribers only, varies by plan. That's HelloFresh.com/NateTheLawyer10FM for 10 free meals plus a free item for life. And remember, HelloFresh is America's #1
totally not screenshotting this affiliate code so I can get 10 free meals.
Lawyer 10FM for 10 free meals plus a
When is Congressman Gonzalez going to be investigated? I honestly have no idea if at all he's going to be. Yeah, I really couldn't tell you. Actual Justice Warrior posted 3 hours ago. Yep, there you go. I figured that he already knew and was aware of this. He and Nate the Lawyer are talking all the time.
Free item for life. And remember, HelloFresh is America's #1 choice for home cooking. Welcome back to the channel. My name is...
There we go. Hello.
Nate the Lawyer, and today we are talking about our favorite crazy mayor, Tiffany A. Henyard. Now, for those of you who do not know who Tiffany Henyard is, she was at one point labeled the worst mayor in America. All right, I'm not going to go over the whole history here, but for instance, she told the taxpayers to pay their taxes by playing Rihanna's "Bitch Better Have My Money."
Nobody knows something. Don't nobody know nothing.
Tiffany Henyard certainly isn't shy about attracting attention. Here she is starting a Dalton Village board meeting dressed like the Wesley Snipes character in the movie New Jack City. Later punctuating her political points with the help of her own DJ.
Every single resident. Pay me what you owe me. Thank you, DJ.
Then she gave a...
Do you know how insane it is? I just finished that teacup of wine, by the way. Do you know how insane it is that the mayor has a fucking DJ like Jamie from the Joe Rogan Experience to add in fucking sound clips to their disses? That I don't even know. I don't.
Convicted sex offender, a badge, and told him to go into people's homes.
Furious after a Fox 32 investigation found this registered child sex offender on the public payroll.
A sex offender, you don't give them carte blanche to go into different people's homes.
46-year-old Lavelle Redmond is close friends with Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who in September hired Redmond as a code enforcement officer without the village board's approval. Redmond served 25 years in prison.
Yeah, a lot of us know a lot of this background already because we watched Nate the Lawyer's coverage on Tiffany Henyard before.
For the brutal gang rape and beating of 2 young teenage girls in the 1990s, and was arrested and charged after our first story aired for violating the reporting requirements of the sex offender registry. But Mayor Henyard says her friend deserves a second chance, infuriating a number of Dalton residents. Fox 32 has also obtained this cell phone video showing Redmond interacting with the mayor and little children at a
Yeah, that's okay. That's really not good.
School event in Dalton. Notice the badge on his waist.
And let's not talk about the lavish trips around the country like this one she took to Las Vegas.
And then there are the trips to Las Vegas. Mayor Henyard and other top officials traveled to Sin City in May to attend a shopping center conference. It's unclear if it helped Dalton land any deals.
Don't have a clue. We're all in the dark. Not only are the residents in the dark, but the trustees are also in the dark as well.
I do not handle anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas?
I love so much when you catch a politician in a obvious lie, red-handed. I mean, there's seriously, there's nothing better in my opinion.
What is that?
No comment.
You don't know?
No comment with a smile.
If you were in Las Vegas?
Of course I do.
Were you?
It's not paid by them.
Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?
Any other questions?
Actually, yes. The credit card records do shed some light on tax dollars spent at several restaurants near the Strip, including Cafe Hollywood and Hot and Juicy Crawfish.
All right. Any other questions?
So you're not going to answer how taxpayer dollars are being spent? That seems odd.
I just answered it. What do you mean? I just answered your questions.
You said you wouldn't answer about Las Vegas.
You asked me a question and I responded. So
Okay. I'm glowing, chat. I'm glowing.
Other questions you may have?
So there are a lot more controversies dealing with this particular mayor in this particular town. But we're not going to go into all that because this video will be an hour long. Let's get into what's going on in Fulton County, Georgia. So Dale says...
She would... Out of all the counties in Georgia, I don't know how many counties are in Georgia. But she's seriously running in Fulton County. Fulton fucking County, guys. Like, for anyone who's remotely aware of all the bullshit going on with, like, election and all that, like, shit, like, and I'm talking about all the accusations of fraud and stuff like that. Fulton County, you're gonna run there, huh? Like, come on!
I'm a good YouTuber, Henyard was the mayor in Illinois, Dalton, Illinois.
Yeah.
She had done such a horrible job, she was kicked out of office by a landslide victory.
Tiffany Henyard was a no-show for her election night party after it became clear that she would lose in a landslide. I did speak with her by phone. She said she accepts the election results. She said
if you were corrupt, why not run in Fulton? I'll tell you. Because if you are a MAGA Republican who believes that Fulton County stole the votes for the GOP and did so for the Dems instead, why would you run for any position in Fulton County when you are somebody who believes that the election was rigged? Doesn't make a lot of sense.
Spoken, and God must have a different plan for me. It was a far cry from the tone that she struck earlier in the day when she insisted that she would win in spectacular fashion.
It's weird.
If you don't win, what are you going to do?
I might run for something bigger. You never know. We're not going to talk about that till we get the results, but I am confident that I will have a landslide this evening. My residents do love me despite fake news not showing the good that I do in the community, because I do a ton of good.
Okay, so there's 159 counties in Georgia, but Fulton is basically first. That includes Atlanta.
But y'all just painted me as bad news for 4 years.
Yeah, Tiffany Henyard didn't just lose tonight. You might call this a political annihilation. Her opponent, trustee Jason House, getting a 7-1 margin over her tonight. House with 87.
A 7-1 margin. Do you know how? Wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're done in that state.
0.9% of the 4,400 votes cast here today. Henyard getting just 12% of the vote.
So as you saw, Henyard was kicked out of office, landslide loss. So she decided, hey, maybe Illinois is not the place for me, and headed to Atlanta.
Atlanta is known as, it's the Mecca, it's known as Black Hollywood, it's known as the city of dreams, especially if you're an entrepreneur, a boss, a creator. So my first question is, what led you to Atlanta? You just said it. Opportunity.
So this clip...
Opportunity. Joe, that's opportunity at that diner at Thoyd Street. Know what I'm saying? Sorry. Sometimes I'll hear somebody do an accent that I just gotta full send it. You heard me, opportunity. I got that opportunity.
Confirms two things: that Tiffany Henyard is
perpendicular.
no longer operating in Illinois, and she's moved to the Atlanta area. To even confirm this even more, she describes a business that she is now owned and operated in the Atlanta area.
And for those of y'all who are new to her story, your clothing store, before we wrap up, the New Wave. In College Park. Amazing clothing store. I love the merch. I actually got my first outfit. I'll definitely be back. Anyone who knows the diva knows I love this shop.
God, I felt my eyes roll into the back of my head as my brain tried to shut down from the retardation I just heard.
I mean, I'm a lady. We all like to shop. So talk to us about what we can expect with your clothing store. She doing it all, y'all.
So basically, everybody was into my fashion during my 4 years.
Oh, yes. That was a big thing.
Yeah, people were into your fashion because last I checked, you dressed up as a racist stereotype from an old movie. I don't think anybody liked that. Nobody on either race wanted to see that.
That was a big thing. So she was always dressed.
Always dressed.
And the hair was always laid.
Yeah. Thank you. So basically, I want to basically embrace somebody with how I dress. When I'm on a down day like now, like this is something that we carry in our store. This is a Puma outfit.
It's cute too.
So we got different things for a different you.
So now we know that Tiffany is down in Atlanta, and the Atlanta Journal-Constitution did an article, and in this article they talk about who's running for various positions in Fulton County. And so down right here, they say Tiffany A. Henyard, a Republican business owner, also has qualified to run for the District 5 Commissioner seat. So we know Tiffany A. Henyard has moved to the Atlanta area, has moved to Fulton County, but is she this business owner who's a Republican? Well, here's what Tiffany A. Henyard says about Democrats and Republicans.
So you certainly landed during a trying time in the world. There's been a lot of conversation lately about members of the Black community leaving the Democratic Party.
I actually enjoyed it. I prefer my clowns wearing their clown outfits. Damn, Saber.
Ooh. Yes, that's been the topic of the day on social media, like in the podcast world. Have you heard anything about that?
Oh yes, they talking, huh?
They are talking. They are talking. What's your thoughts about that?
I'm really, really happy that people are entertaining the conversation. I really want people to educate themselves.
Yeah, look, I don't know what a pinstripe tracksuit is. It is a look. I don't know. I don't know if it's endearing or derogatory. All I know is I don't like it.
So they understand who does what, how it works, and what's the process.
Right.
Because everybody's pointing the finger at they did it, left, right, okay, whatever.
Right.
But no one's coming with facts.
People keep voting for Democrats or keep voting Democrat, but the Democrats aren't doing anything for the black community.
That's true.
So
I lived it. That's true.
You lived it. You mean
I lived it because I am a Democrat. I ran as a Democrat, and if you go check my voting record, that's what I always pull, a Democrat ballot. And Democrats really need some help, and I'm here to say it proudly that a lot of them don't belong in the seats that they're in. Residents have to really research them and stop listening because they say they're a Democrat don't mean they for you. Mm-hmm. They're normally for themselves. You have to really pay attention and change the narrative that we see right now.
Right.
Because right now, Republicans are doing a good job to me. This is my opinion.
No.
Republicans are doing a good job. Slash me looks over at the planet.
Everybody got their own opinion.
Everyone has their own opinion.
What, when, where. I'm only speaking because I lived it by me being a Democrat, and my very own is the ones that was attacking me.
Honestly, you know what? You know what? We're getting this. Hold on. I'm sorry, chat. That actually has motivated me to gather. Oh shit! What was that? I did something I shouldn't have. Oh well. YouTube.com. I've been trying to get this not sure I believe she's sincere, no, for real. Good for you. You're wrong.
Well, good for you, you're wrong.
That's what I wanted. That's literally all I wanted. Hold on. Let me just get this. YouTube. YouTube to the MP3. YouTube to the MP4. YouTube to the clickety clack typing back, motherfucker. No, we're just getting a clip here, a clip ready for you guys. Well, everyone has their opinion, right? Yeah, well, everyone has their opinion, but that opinion can be wrong.
Well, good for you, you're wrong.
Alright, that's good. That's secured. Let us resume.
All right, because this was so confusing to me whether this was actually Tiffany Henyard from Illinois versus some random Tiffany A. Henyard, I actually went to the Fulton County list of qualified candidates. These are the people who've actually done the work to be qualified to be placed on the ballot. And I wanted to see what it said about this particular race. So when you scroll down, you're at the Fulton County Board of Commissioners, District 5, and it says Democrat, 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 but it has Tiffany Henyard, Republican, business owner. Is she?
Yo, she's trying to do, like, there's no way. Like, she's asking for a waltz here. Every other person in this position is Democratic. Yet you're coming in on the Republican ticket. And you were qualified by the Republican. I'm sorry, look at this over here. They were qualified by the Republican Party. What kind of nonsense is this?
The incumbent, no, she's the Republican Party, and she qualified on March 5th, 2026, very recently. So, what do we know? We know that like Tiffany Henyard moved to Fulton County. She opened a business in Fulton County, and she says she's done with Illinois politics. She also says how she's unhappy with the Democrats. They were the ones that attacked her, and says she's very happy with how the Republicans are running things. All right, so we have to understand what we also don't know. We don't know if this Tiffany Henyard is our Tiffany Henyard. We don't have the candidate affidavit. We don't have the filing address in District 5 where this is. There's no campaign website that we can see. It's just a name and the same county where Tiffany Henyard has moved to. But again, there could be more than one Tiffany Henyard in Fulton County. So the bottom line is, did Tiffany Henyard move to Atlanta, open a business, switch parties, and file for office? Or is this just some other person with the same name?
The former South Suburban politician has moved to Georgia and appears to be running for office there. The local board of elections says Tiffany A. Henyard has qualified to run for a district commissioner's job in Fulton County. Henyard did not respond to a request for comment, though. The county includes Atlanta and surrounding suburbs. The longtime Democrat is running as a Republican, will not face any opponents in the primary. The district is heavily Democratic, and 4 candidates are vying for that nomination.
So this is for the fans out there. Do you think this Tiffany A. Henyard is our Tiffany A. Henyard? Is she trying to get back into the game, trying to become a county commissioner? Now, county commissioner is a pretty big job. That's the legislature for that county. Decide who gets what monies and all that type of stuff. So it looks like she's trying to get back on the horse. And let's not forget, she has the whole FBI thing she's dealing with, too. So let me know in the comments section, is this Tiffany A. Henyard running in Fulton County, the same Tiffany A. Henyard?
Look, there's a number of reasons why I might think it's not, right? But the fact of the matter is, we know for a fact that she moved down to Fulton County. She moved down to Atlanta, Georgia. And she, like county commissioner, is exactly the type of position that she would run for. We know because she's run for some more positions in that township she was up in Dalton. Yeah, they're about to have a DJ in Atlanta. Alright, so this next one is gonna be the spiciest one, and I'm actually going to need to bring up my YouTube studio for this one, because I'm gonna need to keep an eye on it. We are now going to be basically reacting to a 3-plus-year-old video from the infographic show. This video is entitled, "What Would Happen If USA and Iran Went to War?" This is a military/army comparison. Given light of recent events and current events, I find that the release, the April 21st, 2022 release of this video to be very interesting, and would like to see, in the first week or so of our conflict with Iran, how much so far the infographic show actually managed to get right and what it might have managed to get wrong. We're gonna try not to be political here. We are merely analyzing this from a like an almost anthropological standpoint. You know, where we're really just looking at the numbers and the what if scenario here, not necessarily applying every current event of what's going on to this video, but we're gonna broad stroke it basically. Hey yo, habitual line crosser. Aged like wine. Did it age like wine? Well, let's see what happened. Let's see what's going on.
It's a showdown that's been brewing for years, and 2022 is increasingly looking like the year that the war everyone has feared will finally happen. The United States versus Iran. How do the two sides stack up to each other, and how would a war between the two play out? Iran is ranked in 14th place amongst the world's top militaries. Not bad for a nation that's been under severe sanctions for years. But today it's facing off against the world's #1 ranked military and only global superpower, the United States of America. A conflict between Iran and the US is unlikely to become severe enough to cause a need for the US to fully mobilize its population, though Iran might certainly need to. However, more population means a bigger economy and more capabilities. And here the United States takes the cake with a population of 335 million versus Iran's
Christ. Those numbers do not look good for Iran. I mean, that's... Jesus, let's see here. 8, 16... Oh my god. Guys. This is a rough estimation, but our population is roughly 4 times higher than that of Iran.
86 million. That's a difference of 249 million more Americans than Iranians. Of that population, though, the U.S. could call on 147 million for potential military service, though only 122 million of them are physically or mentally fit enough to actually serve. Iran, on the other hand, has a manpower pool of 48 million, with only 40 million actually fit for service. If a war between Iran and the U.S. were to turn into a multi-year stalemate, it would be important to quickly replenish losses, and here too the United States
I can finally be a proud Raider fan again. Oh my god. Alright, let's see here. Teenagers.
States holds the advantage with 4.3 million teenagers reaching military age annually versus Iran's 1.3 million. Currently, though, on active duty, the United States has the world's 3rd largest military with a 1.39 million strong military versus Iran's 575,000. Reserves are important for replenishing casualties and rotating out exhausted troops to give them a chance to recoup and recover, and both countries are pretty evenly matched there, with the U.S. having a reservist force of 442,000 versus Iran's 350,000. Iran enjoys such large amounts of reservists thanks to the fact that its military service is compulsory for all males upon reaching adulthood. This means that
yeah, it's pretty much you hit 18 and you have to join the army. This is some like FMA Brotherhood stuff.
The Iranian
more conscripted into the military rather than like actually volunteering.
Active duty military is largely made up of conscripts with
This channel isn't exactly free of bias. I imagine not. With wine, yes. Have you checked out the goal? Right now my glass is empty, but you can fill it.
few professional volunteer soldiers. These conscripts are typically drafted at age 19 and made to serve 2 years, though few receive much useful military training during that time. Most Iranian soldiers rarely ever fire their weapons and have to work with equipment that's mostly from the first half of the Cold War. This is in sharp contrast with the US military, which maintains an aggressive year-round training cycle. Training is frequently punctuated with small-scale exercises and occasionally with larger multi-unit exercises.
Yeah, they have like war games and shit all the time. I imagine in terms of training and just maintaining that training standard, the US has Iran beat in spades.
The U.S. Navy's RIMPAC exercise, for example, is a massive event that takes place every 2 years and involves the military forces of over 24 partner nations across the Pacific Rim. Not only do conscripts traditionally perform very poorly against professional all-volunteer forces, but Iran's conscripts undergo very little useful training and would be completely overwhelmed against America's professionally trained warfighters. A military is only as good as the equipment it can afford, and war is a costly affair. Iran has an annual budget of $5 billion for its military, though the nation spends significant amounts of money under the table carrying out various military-related activities in its sphere of influence. By comparison, the United States has a defense budget of $770 billion, absolutely dwarfing what Iran spends annually. In the realm of military hardware, Iran fields an air force of 543 planes versus the US's 13,247. Of these, on Iran's side, 197 are fighter aircraft, while the US maintains a fighter fleet of 1,957.
JP Ravenfire says, I just realized today that Ayatollahs in Iran is lyrics and we didn't start the fire. Well, for the first time in a long time, that song is now inaccurate. Cause he was in Iran, but he ain't no more.
If Iran and the US were to come to blows, the US might find itself surprised to be taking on one of its own most capable fighters ever built during the Cold War. That's because Iran is still fielding the F-14 Tomcat, having an estimated 40 of them still in service. This is thanks to a pre-revolution deal with the Iranian government that saw them buy 80 of the planes, though only 79 were delivered. After the revolution, the United States shut down all support for Iran's Tomcat fleet, and it feared having to go up against the formidable fighter so much that it actually destroyed every single Tomcat it retired to prevent Iran from having any opportunity of seizing badly needed parts for maintenance. Without U.S. support for parts replacement, its Tomcat fleet has been steadily shrinking as planes are cannibalized to keep others flying. Today it's believed between 40 to 43 of them are still mission capable, with 20 fully mission capable and 20 only partially mission capable. The rest of Iran's air fleet is made up of Cold War-era MiG-29s, American F-4 Phantom IIs, and F-5 Tiger II, Chinese J-7s, Mirage F-1s, Su-22s, and domestically made at HESA Kosar and HESA Saeke. The latter are only available in very low numbers and are both light attack jets, widely considered to be very inefficient machines. In a ground attack role, Iran is forced to use multi-role planes such as the Su-22 and domestically modified F-5E, known as the HESA Azarash. Both planes are only suited for small-scale strike missions, and with a lack of targeting pods are incapable of precision strikes. Iran's fighter fleet is largely non-modern, though some of their planes have received fourth-generation avionics. However, so many different aircraft models are a nightmare to conduct maintenance on, so it's unlikely many of these planes are actually operationally ready, and even
Arving Cerberus, thank you so much for the 20. Okay, I'm gonna actually try to voice act this. It's not like I want you to keep drinking or anything, but Baka. Here, drink up already. I won't forgive you if you don't drink. You got that? And it's not like I'm not happy about getting you drunk either. There you go. Let me open this up. Pour the glass. The glass is poured. It's a mega mini pint. I filled it to the brim. Hey, what happened to our freaking... There we go.
less likely they would remain so during high-tempo combat operations. Such a diverse and mixed air fleet drives up both maintenance costs and time, and can make sourcing replacement parts a nightmare. By comparison, though, the United States fields the world's most modern air fleet, though some of the planes are showing a growing lack of modernity. The F-15 Eagle and F-16 Fighting Falcon are both extremely capable fighter aircraft, capable of both air superiority and ground attack, but are showing their age against increasingly sophisticated modern fighters and air defenses. America's F-22 remains the single deadliest airplane in the sky, with significant capability overmatch against any other fighter aircraft in the world. However, it's also one of the most expensive aircraft in the world, forcing the U.S. Air Force to limit its production run to just under 200. Today, 195 remain in service, and no further Raptors will ever be built. Instead, the U.S. Air Force is already looking ahead to a 6th-generation fighter for air superiority, with a prototype already tested and flown. In the meantime, it relies on its fleet of F-15s and F-35s for the air superiority mission, with 283 5th-generation F-35s across all arms of the U.S. military. This number grows every year, with a planned purchase of 1,763 F-35s for just...
This is ridiculous. Like, it's basically... It's like, hey, you have to stop. It's like, does the lion stop when it steps on an ant or something like that? Like, it's not even... It's insane. Like, the level of, like, the difference here in military power.
The U.S. Air Force alone. Lockheed Martin is set to provide the U.S. military with approximately 135 planes per year until the contract is completed, making U.S. Air Forces deadlier with every passing year. The U.S. Navy and Marines, meanwhile, operate the vaunted F-18 Super Hornet, which replaced the F-14 Tomcat in 1985. One of the most agile jets on the planet, it's light enough to be launched from carriers, but capable of bringing large weapons packages to the fight, making it perfect as a multi-role fighter. To support ground troops, though, the U.S. Air Force relies on the A-10 Thunderbolt II, an impressive ground attack aircraft that has achieved legendary status since its introduction in 1977. Strategic bomb.
Hold on real quick, sorry, chat. Just gotta bring this over here so I can make sure nothing's happening. with our
Bombing is carried out by a mixed fleet of B-52 Stratofortresses, B-2 Spirits, and B-1B Lancers. The B-52 was put into service first in 1955 and incredibly is set to remain in service until the 2050s, making it the longest service aircraft in history. Thanks to aggressive upgrades, the plane remains one of the deadliest bombers in the sky and proved itself against the Soviet defenses during the Vietnam War thanks to its aggressive suite of electronic warfare countermeasures. The American B-2 fleet was originally designed to slip behind enemy lines and deliver strategic nuclear strikes.
I heard electromagnetic countermeasures. Didn't we EMP the shit out of Iran when we launched our strike? Like, they pretty much just went dark.
Remains the world's only stealth bomber. An upgrade after the fall of the Soviet Union saw it geared for more conventional combat, and now is tasked with slipping through the densest enemy air defenses and eliminating high-value targets. The B-1B Lancer is a much faster strategic bomber that has less endurance than the B-52, but can fly at supersonic speeds to deliver bombs quickly where they're needed the most. America's overwhelming advantage in attack aircraft places Iranian ground forces at serious risk. Unlike powers like China and Russia, U.S. aircraft are largely multi-role capable, and its pilots trained in both air superiority and ground attack missions. This gives the United States a significant advantage over any competitor, and an edge that only makes a war an increasingly bad proposition for Iran. To fend off the mighty U.S. Air Force, Iran relies not on air superiority fighters, but on a robust layer of ground-based air defenses. At the outermost layer are Iran's longest-range air defenses, the Bavar 373, which is a reverse-engineered Russian S-300. It also has a few S-300 batteries courtesy of Russia, who delivered them in 2015 after Iran joined the JCPOA nuclear deal. With a range of 155 miles, these present a significant threat to fourth-generation aircraft, but F-35s equipped with glide bombs or even B-52s using standoff attack munitions could easily overwhelm and destroy these batteries on their radar. At intermediate range, Iran fields an update on a reverse-engineered American SM-1 missile sold to the Iranian Navy prior to the revolution. The 1960s tech has been updated with domestic upgrades, producing the Sayyad-2, which boasts a range of 46 miles, though the longer Sayyad-3 has a range of 75 miles. These missiles can be difficult to destroy on the ground because they can be mounted on very agile truck-mounted launchers, which can rapidly reposition. For short to intermediate range engagements, Iran has the Salimcha missiles, produced from reverse-engineered American Hawk missiles provided to Iran in the 1960s. Iran also has a new triple-rail launcher system called Mersad and has the ability to engage up to 2 targets simultaneously. Various other foreign-source SAM systems have been cloned or reverse-engineered by Iran, and the nation fields a sizable quantity of low-altitude defense systems meant to be used against helicopters. However dense Iranian air defenses are, most of them are static and well-known to the U.S. By using a combination of stealth aircraft, standoff attack munitions, and electronic jamming, the U.S. with its overwhelming air fleet could easily dismantle the Iranian air defense system, just like the U.S. did with zero or minimal losses in Iraq, Libya, and Syria. To support its ground forces, Iran has nothing more than a token attack helicopter fleet, which would not survive initial contact against U.S. forces equipped with short-range air defenses and manpads. The U.S., on the other hand, has the world's largest attack helicopter fleet, made up of 910 helicopters, including the Apache and Super Cobra used by the American Marine Corps. These attack helicopters are both heavily armored and can provide flexible close air support, as well as engage in reconnaissance and hunter-killer missions. The Apache in particular is an incredibly robust aircraft, with only a single Apache lost to heavy anti-aircraft fire during an ambush by Iraq's military at Najaf. However, the 32 Apaches were forced to retreat and unable to carry out their deep attack mission behind enemy lines, which is their primary purpose. This has prompted the need by the U.S. Army to replace its aging Apaches with more capable variants who can survive modern combat. In a conflict between Iran and the U.S., tanks will largely be the dominant weapon of choice, thanks to a largely flat, open terrain of the country. Iran brings 2,831 tanks to fight, while the United States has the world's second-largest fleet at 6,612. Iran's tanks, however, are mostly Cold War relics, though it does field capable T-72s upgraded with modern armor, sensor, and cannons. However, Iran's tanks are largely considered to be inferior to any Western model.
Hold on. Wait, I see that. Alright, let's see here. Now, I'm not claiming Eva is a part of any conspiracy, but it seems an odd coincidence that the same time Eva appeared was shortly after the Keebler elf disappeared in that tragic bakery fire. I don't know what you're talking about, nor what you're implying, but thank you very much for the 20, and that is a refill on our teacup. Oh, right, I looked in perfectly. Put that up there. Capable. China has the largest naval fleet. Okay, I didn't know that.
Let alone the vaunted American Abrams. An effort to build a next-generation domestic tank failed in the late 2010s and was likely just a big publicity ploy to get Russia to lower its asking price for supplying the country with tanks. The Zulfikar series of domestically made tanks suffer from weapons embargoes, leaving Iran incapable of equipping them with truly modern systems. The United States' own Abrams have been continuously upgraded since their introduction to the U.S. Armed Forces. Currently, the Abrams tank fleet is being upgraded to System Enhancement Program version 4, which finally brings a third-generation thermal imager to the Abrams tank.
Oh,
a key
Russia
weakness
is first now as of this year. That's crazy. I didn't realize Russia was trying to do tanks so much. By the way, tonnage doesn't matter. I don't know why look, I've seen multiple people buying in number of boats, not tonnage. Yeah, that's what a navy is. If you're trying to go, oh yeah, well we beat you in weight. Well, fuck you. Okay, cool, America's fatter. No, the most boats equals that winner. Like, that's some cope shit to say, oh, but they don't beat us in tonnage. Fuck off.
American tanks for years. Trophy anti-missile defense systems have also started to be integrated into American tanks, using radar and explosive charges to defeat enemy anti-tank missiles. To see why this has become so critically important, one only need to look at the performance of Russian armor in Ukraine today, with Ukraine forces killing hundreds of modern Russian tanks with anti-tank missiles. With each upgrade, though, the Abrams tank is becoming heavier and
Russia is in an active war, so building up the tanks makes sense. Yeah, but they're in an active war. So while they might be building up their tanks, I think the thing is, so are you saying 100 dinghies versus a carrier? Yes. Honestly, even if I was a carrier, 100 dinghies would terrify me. Because I know what a military rib dinghy looks like, what it's mounted with, aka a 50 cal. So you tell me, you get surrounded, even in a carrier, by 100 fucking dinghies. Yeah, guess what? You're fully mobilizing and fucking shooting everything that moves. And 2, you're praying they don't make it to the fucking boat to actually get on board somehow.
heavier, a serious problem for the tank fleet, as it's now feared the tank might be too heavy to cross some bridges. Greater weight also means more fuel.
So we have more weapons. That's fine. I imagine we have more weapons. And we have far more munitions as well, but we don't have more boats. And that's the thing, is like, okay, a fleet does not include tonnage. But what could include tonnage... Hold on, let me switch over here. I just noticed it went off. Because it doesn't like me, chat. Listen, guys. Ava and Stalin, quantity has a quality of its own. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does. And we're talking about fleet number, not how many guns you have. America's almost always going to beat the... Like, we're gonna come out number one on the who has the most guns, right? We do. America does. But that's munitions. That's not the number of boats in your fleet. I built carriers. Why are there people in my chat that built boat carriers? What is happening? Fast attack ships have been accounted for. Believe me, gotcha.
Expenditure, lowering its already short combat range between 93 and 124 miles in cross-country conditions. However, American Abrams would prove absolutely lethal to Iran's own tank fleets, and their improved protection against RPGs and IEDs means that they'll even be more survivable in urban environments, where most of the fighting will likely end up taking place. Armored personnel carriers are important for helping support one's infantry and protecting them in a deadly modern battlefield.
Honestly, Severus is asking the root questions. How many ship girls each country has? Also, how many tank girls does each country have? I think that's really the real questions we should be asking.
States can boast total mechanized capabilities for its infantry, while Iran struggles to do the same. The U.S. fields a fleet of over 45,000 armored vehicles versus Iran's 7,600. Again, Iran's armored vehicles are early Russian or late Soviet models, and severely lacking in modernity upgrades thanks to budget limitations and sanctions. American Bradleys, meanwhile, are capable of engaging other lightly armored vehicles and even taking out tanks.
I just love that look. I'm not saying that him being a shipwright is bad. I'm just surprised that we have a shipwright in our chat. You know how crazy that is? This dude in our chat has helped build U.S. naval carriers. Do you understand how fucking based that is? And the fact that he's in our chat, that's crazy. We basically have an expert witness. Well, you are watching a video on military stuff, so people that like that will appear. I mean, Badger had people in his community ask if he wants to see docs on our chats. What? Yeah, I don't want to run afoul of the U.S. military. Yes, post-Cole, it was a good learning experience, I imagine. I had a friend who went to a naval architect school. So he didn't he wasn't a shipwright. I think he could have been a shipwright. But I don't think he did the other stuff beyond schooling of what you have to do.
Thanks to 2 anti-tank missiles.
Eva, I think you gotta pay them. When Eva gets her shot caller, she needs to get zapped for saying based. Absolutely not. The boatism calls through space and time. This ain't War Thunder, please no leaks!
On each vehicle. Both Iran and the U.S. have comparable amounts of artillery, with the U.S. fielding 1,498 self-propelled artillery and 1,339 towed artillery such as howitzers. Iran, meanwhile, has 1,030 self-propelled artillery and 2,000...
How do they have more? They have a significant amount more of towed artillery than we do. Are these numbers accurate? I feel like we have far more than this.
108
I had to remember this is from 2022.
Towed artillery pieces. The similarity in capabilities here is because the United States traditionally relies on much more flexible and accurate air assets for fire support, even though its artillery corps are significantly more capable than Iran's own thanks to the use of smart munitions. New guided projectiles have actually earned American artillery a world record for distance, firing a shell 43 miles and hitting a practice target with pinpoint accuracy. However, even Iran's dumb artillery is a significant threat to both vehicles and personnel, and the large numbers of artillery available to Iran should not be ignored in a potential conflict scenario. Of course, thanks to air dominance, Iranian artillery batteries would be decidedly non-survivable assets in combat.
I am noticing, Festiva, that drones are not being considered in this conversation yet. Although I would think in 2022 you would include drones. Eva, 2 reasons. First, the Soviet Union. Second, we only have one factory which makes the barrels for them. Okay, that makes sense.
Rocket projectors or rocket artillery can be devastating when used against infantry. By firing significant numbers of rockets in short succession, MLRS rocket systems deny infantry a chance to get to cover the way tube artillery and its far slower rate of fire does. The U.S. employs 1,366 MLRS, while Iran has 2,485.
Look, I like how... Look at how much cooler our vehicle looks compared to Iran's. Like, look at your 6-wheeled limp dick shit. We got 8 wheels, motherfucker! We got 2 hydraulic space. Look, it's like the baby version and then the evolved version in Pokemon. It's so funny. By the way, chat, we have now finished that teacup of wine, and we have enough in the bottle, it looks like, for 1 more. So after that 1 more, if somebody pays for that, for me to fill, I will be ending the goal. Because Papa Elfpire took a little bit of the wine.
Again, mostly Russian or Soviet-made. For all the incompetence of Russia's modern military forces, the Ukrainian conflict shows that even basic MLRS systems are devastating when used in large numbers. This too is a threat that shouldn't be discarded, but unlikely to be very survivable against the US's air fleets. Naval operations will be an important part of a war between Iran.
What's 16 minimum? Half of the war is cool. I'm sure Iranians are on the back of Toyota Hiluxes. Oh my god, shut up! Festiva, no. 2022 was not right at the beginning of the drone topic. Are you crazy? Obama sent so many fucking drone strikes and he left office in 2016. You were talking about a 7-year discrepancy, militarily speaking. No. Obama from 8? Yeah, 2008 to 2016 carried out more drone strikes than any other president in history, even today. Like, even Trump hasn't compared to the number of drone strikes he's launched. So, 2022. Are you talking about, like, modern drones? Like, what are they called? The personal fighting drones, right? The ones that, like, have little guns on them and stuff. The way we use drones are not the same we have used them in Ukraine. Yeah, that's fair. That is actually very true. 2009 to 2017, technically. It was the start of the small drone topic. FPV drones are relatively new. Okay, so we're talking about FPV. Gotcha. Different kind of drones that you're thinking. We use drones more like strike aircraft, not kamikaze. Imagine Washington drone striking his enemies. Okay, first of all, you know he would. And he would on Christmas. And it's called a Reaper drone. Yeah, I believe Morthos has quite a bit of tism when it comes to military stuff.
In the U.S. At sea, the U.S. fields a navy made up of 484 vessels versus Iran's 142. However, most of Iran's navy is made up of smaller patrol boats. The U.S. meanwhile operates 11 supercarriers, each carrying 4 squadrons of attack aircraft and various special mission aircraft such as tankers, electronic warfare platforms,
and there's now ground drones and sea drones, that's true. That said, the stuff Ukraine is making that is remote operated is spooky. They had an AI mobile gun refused to retreat, and took out a whole squad of Russians with it. Whoa! Okay, that's kind of, that's kind of spooky. That's some like, I don't like that.
Airborne radar. The U.S. also has a fleet of 9 smaller carriers meant to support amphibious operations, equipped with helicopters and the U.S. Marines variant of the F-35, capable of vertical landing. Under the waves, the U.S. has a fleet of 68 submarines, with the new Virginia-class submarines replacing Cold War-era Los Angeles-class subs. American submarines aren't just deadly to Iran's navy, but can even use cruise missiles to attack land targets deep inside Iranian.
I did hear recently, too, did we not take out an Iranian naval vessel with a torpedo, which is the first time that that's been done since World War II?
Territory. Long holding the advantage in underwater tech, American subs are notoriously stealthy and difficult to track. Iran, meanwhile, has a fleet of 19 subs, though most of these are midget submarines. These small submarines are primarily meant to attack shipping inside the Persian Gulf and Gulf of Oman, with Iran's stated goal of being to block traffic of large oil-laden ships in case of war with the U.S. This would have a devastating effect on global gas prices, and it's the U.S.'s top priority to locate and destroy these tiny submarines before they can succeed in their mission. The rest of the Iranian submarine fleet consists of 3 Soviet-era Kilo-class and 1 Iranian Fateh-class submarine, though the latter is not well suited for deep-water operations.
Second time the U.S. has done it since 42. I think you meant first. Okay, first, yeah. A submarine uses torpedo to sink a ship. Eva-class subs, shut up! The Iranian subs are not Eva-class, I swear to God.
Again, largely lacking in modernity, the fact that these are diesel-electric submarines means there could still be a significant threat to unwary U.S. assets. After the fall of the Soviet Union, the U.S. Navy allowed its once prolific anti-submarine warfare capabilities to seriously atrophy, leading to a series of embarrassing exercises with friendly nation submarines in the early 2000s. However, since...
Could you imagine if that was the actual size of our nations? We were just 2 islands with giant fucking palaces in the middle, and that was everything.
Then, any hostilities seem more likely with China, and the U.S. has beefed up its ASW capabilities once more, even adopting fleets of drones to aid in the task of hunting down and tracking enemy subs, killing a major...
Festiva, you were mentioning drones hadn't been brought into the conversation yet.
American ship with an older and less technologically advanced sub is not impossible for Iran, but very difficult and extremely unlikely to happen more than once. Iran's surface fleet has only about 9 major combatants in the form of corvettes and frigates, the rest being fast attack boats and patrol boats. Iran's surface combatants would face 92 American destroyers and 22 corvettes, though likely it would be carrier-based aircraft who would destroy Iran's surface fleet before it can take much action against American ships. However, smaller patrol and torpedo boats could prove more difficult to target, and if employed in swarm tactics, could end up at least causing significant damage to large U.S. ships. The advantage is clearly on the U.S. side in almost every single category, with U.S. forces fielding far more capable equipment and having better trained troops. So, how would a war with Iran play out? A real war would be unlikely to include ground forces, as the U.S. would be very reluctant to get dragged into yet a third ground war in the Middle East. However, if removal of the regime was necessary for some reason, the U.S.
My Papa Elfpire is on our gardening kick, and he's very excited because he's having some he's having some success in what he's growing. Yeah, he literally just laughed like an evil person, by the way.
Would have to commit ground forces in the effort. First, American carrier-based aircraft supported by the Air Force strike aircraft flying from nearby friendly airfields in Saudi Arabia would launch a massive air assault against the nation. No doubt, Iran would immediately or even preemptively launch a large ballistic missile attack against these airfields and even U.S. vessels. But thanks to robust air defenses and the assistance of Saudi defenses, few of these missiles would cause significant
I've kind of
damage.
been really wanting to play, and I don't have it, and I don't know if maybe somebody might be willing to gift it to me, but I've been kind of wanting to. I've been having a hankering chat. I'm gonna actually bring it up here. Star Wars. What is it? Star Wars. That's right. There it is. I've been having a hankering chat. A hankering for Star Wars Battlefront 2. Might be something worth playing on stream, I don't know. Anywho, let's continue.
Iran has proven in multiple missile attacks against Israeli targets that its targeting capabilities are spotty at best, further reducing the threat posed by ballistic missiles. American Wild Weasel aircraft would first engage enemy air defenses, destroying either missile platforms themselves or their supporting radar. More mobile, shorter-range air defenses might threaten some U.S. aircraft, but it's unlikely that Iran would down a significant amount of U.S. planes. Traditionally, the U.S. is extremely good at neutralizing air defense networks, and while some air defenses may be mobile, their radars rarely ever are. Without radar, most air defense assets are practically useless.
The only hands can satisfy. You know, I was hungry for ants, and when you're hungry for ants...
could rely on actual anti-air artillery left over from the Cold War, but with U.S. planes flying so high, this is unlikely to achieve any results. Next, American planes would pummel missile sites.
OG or EA? I don't really remember playing the OG. But then again, I think I was like 4 or 5 when the OG came out. I think I have like some memories of playing it when I was like 7 or 8 years old. But like, if anyone remembers when they were that old, they weren't good at video games. They didn't really understand what was going on, right? And I don't think I understood what was going on with the game. I do remember doing a lot of saboteur missions, like where I would fly into the enemy starship. And then I would like go in and I would I think I would disable like the shield system and the engine and stuff.
Command and control nodes, logistics hubs, and even troop barracks, bringing devastation across the country from the air. Strikes would also take place against port facilities and major surface warships, while under the waves, U.S. attack submarines in cooperation with ASW aircraft work to pinpoint Iran's submarine fleet and neutralize it. However, even an overwhelming aerial campaign would be insufficient to bring Iran to heel. For that, the Americans would have to commit to a ground war. Invading through Iraq would be difficult, as it would mean passing through thick swamps that favor the defender, and then running straight into the Zagros Mountains. Going in through Turkey would be incredibly unlikely. Turkey did not allow the U.S. to use it as a staging base for Iraq's invasion, and relations between the U.S. and Turkey have significantly soured since then. Going through Afghanistan in the east would mean traversing 2 deserts, which would put U.S. forces far from any strategically important targets. It's likely then that an amphibious assault would be necessary, and while the U.S. Navy and Marines are up to the task, amphibious assaults can be costly, dangerous affairs. However, once in country with a beachhead established, even with superior superior capabilities, actually defeating Iran would be difficult for the US. That's thanks to the sheer size of the country, which is larger than several European countries combined. A study in the late 2000s showed that the US would need about 1.6 million troops to successfully occupy the entire country, meaning the US would either have to initiate conscription or draw in partners for the invasion, something it might actually be able to do given tensions in the Middle East between Iran and many of its neighbors. If the invasion was reasonably justified, the US could likely count on international support anyway. In all likelihood, Iran would try to make the US bleed as much as possible with its conventional forces, but seek to defeat it through asymmetrical means like those employed in Afghanistan. Intelligence shows that today Iran is attempting to infiltrate a network of agents into the US to target political figures such as former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, who's now under guard 24/7. By turning to terrorist group allies, Iran could turn America's invasion into a second Afghanistan, and the US public has little stomach for yet another two-decade war. However, the US might be able to count on the Iranian people themselves to help them overthrow the current regime, especially if it keeps civilian casualties to a minimum. Many people in Iran are tired of living under sanctions and under the thumb of an oppressive Tehran regime, and it's likely that the US would be welcomed as liberators across much of Iran. In this regard, Iran is different from either Iraq or Afghanistan, and a lack of
level, but I think overall support for the war is still very low.
popular support could hinder Iran's ability to launch a successful asymmetrical campaign against US forces. Now go check out Iran versus Saudi Arabia. Who would win? Or click this other video instead.
Now we got what we wanted. Not bad. But we are now continuing with our final video of the night. The key worry, even now, is the Strait of Hormuz. It's true. Oh, shit! The Professor Orkeen, 1911, has paid the final of the goal for me to empty this wine bottle into this glass. Ow, Jesus, There we go, chat. Okay, how much was this? This was 9%, and it was no, actually it was 750 milliliters. So this was a smaller bottle of wine. It was 3/4 of a liter, and I've only had a little bit of the like I've had actually I can actually count. Because we have 1, 2, 3. Well, oh shit. Okay, it's acting weird. We're gonna refresh that page, because it's acting retarded. Oh yeah, it must have been almost out of memory or something. Also, why is the goal not working? We have way more than 2 out of 15. What the heck? Okay, we have 1. And now I can't access the chat. Well, I know that we've had more than, 2. So I think we've had 4 or 5. What kind of wine? White wine, red wine? No, actually, it's a pink Moscato. So thank you very much again to the professional something or rather. It's not telling me your name now all of a sudden, and I'm very upset. But whatever, we're gonna hop right into this final video. Tik Tok psychic accuses innocent woman of murder. I don't know what the fuck is going on here, but apparently there's like some kind of TikTok psychic trend. And one of these TikTok psychics has decided to, well, they're gonna use their gift for good and they're gonna solve crimes. Only problem is, this isn't Nancy Drew. This video is brought to you by COR Bruce Rivers, aka the criminal attorney. And without further ado, let's get started.
So I should not even have done this. What the? Done this. I gave them the murderers. I gave them the motives. I gave them the...
So I don't know who did this, but this is fantastic. I mean, you pull out the language in here. I shouldn't have even done this. No shit. And they told you not to.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And it's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another
real quick before we start this. Baked Buddhist asks, what happened 3 years ago that made the infographics show want to make that? During that time, the infographics show was actually making a lot of those videos. Who would win in a fight, basically. They also had USA versus China. They had USA versus Russia. They basically were just, in general, doing their best to pit countries against each other in their light simulation and to make content.
Unfilled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce.
What about That's So Raven? It's the future, I can see. That's so Raven, so mysterious to me. This again, someone did the exact same thing a few years ago. I think they did. I think this might be the same Tik Tok psychic, though. The Lost Soul.
Rivers, you're board certified criminal.
I mean, I hope it's the same. You know what? Yeah, that's it. I hope it's the same psychic TikToker. Because if it's not, it means that there's more than one. Which is, you know, it's not a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice.
Criminal defense lawyer coming in with my Spanish doubloons. I think that's what these are. Anyway, we're reacting to Ashley. It's either Gillard or Gillard or Goulard.
Ashley
anyway,
Goulard,
it's Ashley on TikTok, who is a spiritualist.
Okay, so it's Ashley. Okay, so it's the same one from a few years ago. I'm like 90% sure.
Who gets her ass wiped by the court. But before we, and she's a tarot card reader from Texas. And so
you know what? I read tarot cards, and I'm going to tell you right now, I would never try to use tarot cards to solve a murder. That's just fucking weird.
Before we get to that, I don't understand some of these people, honestly. But we'll get to how crazy this is. And this is a little bit of a cold reaction. Before we get to that, this is brought to you by AskALawyer.com. AskALawyer.com is a very effective way for you to get some sound legal advice from a living, breathing human being that's a lawyer. For $49,
you know,
and they're not going to represent you in court, but what they will do is they'll get you on your way. You know, if you need help with family law, if you need help with criminal law, well, call me. But if you need help with any kind of other criminal or civil thing that you got going on, like if Ashley, you know, who got sued by somebody, if she would have just listened to some lawyer who told her to shut
he went to the trial, okay.
You know, and not say something. You know, when I sit here and talk on this,
that's like trying to solve a case by ruling nat 20s. Yeah, pretty much.
The words I say echo throughout the country, right? And the world, really. And so if I say wrong things over and over again, you know, a lawyer should tell me to shut the hell up. You know, and that's...
There it is. Again, the most useful advice you would ever get from any lawyer is shut the fuck up.
That's what we're dealing with here. AskALawyer.com will help you in any legal situation. So you get a living, breathing lawyer, and they have an AI component. So if you are doing your own legal research, go to AskALawyer.com. It's trained on all the 50 states. And there's the same people that brought you eForm and eSign. So it's a kind of a conglomeration of legal services. AskALawyer.com. So before we get to this, I have not seen her. I didn't even know about her until now. But one thing I want to tell you guys, if you go on to, you know, CaliforniaPsychics.com or any of this other bullshit, all they're trying to do is get your money. They're just keep you on the phone longer. Oh, really? I'm going to meet my prince? When am I going to meet my prince? Huh. Oh, I have to put in another nickel? Oh, shit. You know, so keep that in mind. So when somebody does this stuff, it's either mental illness or they're just doing, like Candace Owens, for example. I mean, she knows half the shit she says is just...
I'm sorry, does Candace Owens read tarot? AI mentioned in a legal field context. Yeah, but it's a different kind of context. It's not a generalized AI model. It's an AI model specifically trained on law. Laws and access to case law and stuff that the general models just do not have access to. I'm not advocating that you use AskTheLawyer.com, but if you have a legal thing that you actually want an actual answer from, because I'm never going to give you actual advice or answers, I'm just going to give you my opinion. So if you want a actual, AskTheLawyer.com, first of all, employs actual attorneys to answer your question, but they also have this AI component you can check on the side. I would kind of look into the AI component just to see how well an actual law-trained model works compared to, ChatGPT, right? But that's about as far as I would go with there.
100% nonsense. But she's a bomb thrower, and guess what? That controversy is what the social media thrives on. Okay. Who is Ashley Gillard? She's a tarot card reader from Texas. She's also a TikToker who found her.
Papa Elfpire just walked in. So, we're watching somebody. Somebody has decided to read tarot cards on TikTok to solve a murder case. And she has now accused somebody completely innocent. And now it's a whole thing. No, it's really bad. It's really bad. Papa Elfpire just scowled so hard, I'm pretty sure he broke a frown muscle.
Herself in deep doo-doo due to her predictions in the Idaho 4 case. Now, you remember Brian Koberger, he wound up pleading guilty, and he got life in prison. Well, Ashley found herself talking to spirits so she could crack the case. It sounds like she cracked her head. She got a vision from these spirits, which told her the killer had to be linked to the university. Big shock there.
What?
Big shock there. That's the only game in town.
Course.
Everybody's connected to the university out there.
Yeah, that's
the spirits then told her it was someone in the history department. Ooh. So let's see what Miss Gillard, whatever.
Because, let's think about this. If the universe is going to give you signs and clues to lead you to the true killer of some tragedy, why isn't the universe or the ghost or whatever the fuck you're talking to just going to say, hey, it's this person, this is their name, they work here? They're not going to give you cryptic messages from the deep. Come on.
Her name has to say. Keep in mind, everything she says is bullshit.
Also, wine finished, and we are feeling amazing right now.
Before I begin this Who is Rebecca Schofield series and her motives for the murder of the...
I hate everything about her right now. One, she has her tarot book on, literally. I have a brand new tarot card deck courtesy of chat. I put it on Throne. It's a Skyrim themed one. Now, here's the thing. I've been doing tarot for a number of years. As soon as I understand what the changes in the books are, right? Because in this we have, I'm actually bringing it up right now. Hold on. I'm opening up the book. Instead of the typical books that you have, which is pentacles and wands and swords and stuff like that. This instead you have suit of spells, suit of lockpicks, suit of arms, and suit of voice. The second that I learn the corresponding fucking suits, because this is a flavored tarot deck, I'll be able to do a reading without referencing the book. So the fact that she's sitting there with her reference book literally right in front of her, I'm like, girl, what the fuck are you doing? Dishonored? Oh, Miss Enyame. If one is able to reach the spirits, why not ask for lottery numbers as well? Yeah, no, for real.
University of Idaho students, let's just dispel the rumors. No, I do not know Rebecca Schofield. I'm not connected to her in any kind of way.
Did she just say, let's dispel the rumors?
She did.
I'm not emotionally tied to her or any of the victims. I'm not connected to anyone. I have no reason to lie on her. No, I did not just see her picture and name on the University of Idaho history page and then automatically feel it was her. This is not a feeling, this is knowledge. I have no feelings.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. So the wordage might be different here. But the fact of the matter is, she is qualifying this statement and trying to assert that it is factual. It is knowledge. It's not her opinion, it's not a feeling, it's knowledge. This is a serious problem because this opens you up to defamation. You cannot assert any kind of opinion you might have as fact. Or as knowledge, quote unquote. She's already in very extremely dangerous territory here.
About this. I did a reading when I saw Rebecca Schofield on the history department's page on Rebecca Schofield and her connection. I also did readings on some of the other people and their connection to the University of Idaho crimes. What came out on their...
Now, I love a good ghost story. You know, do I believe in ghosts? I don't know. I don't know what's really out there. Do I believe spirits are talking to this nut job? No, I don't. You shouldn't either. But let's see what else the nut job has to say.
Reading is how they responded to the crimes and how they were feeling about it. What came out in Rebecca Schofield's reading was how she implemented it, how she planned it, and why.
I might do that as a members only stream.
Rebecca Schofield part 2. So I asked the spirit, how did Rebecca Schofield and Kaylee meet? Rebecca Schofield and Kaylee connected because she needed an advisor. She was about to graduate. She wanted advice on personal growth, the next steps. Also, she needed resolution for anything or anyone that was getting in the way of her ability to graduate. So she went to Rebecca Schofield for advice. So initially they met on an advisor-mentor basis. So then as the relationship progressed, Rebecca Schofield starts dropping cues about her interest in Kaylee, about her books, being primarily about LGBTQ, just planting seeds in her head, just letting her know.
So when you're unchecked and you have a microphone and a camera, and I'm assuming she had some bit of a following.
Yeah, over 100,000 followers.
100,000 followers. 100,000
Wow.
people. It just goes to show you.
That's a lot of reach.
What the fuck?
She's interested in her and also letting her know about her sexuality. At this point, she's talking to Kaylee about her desire for her, but also her desire for women and how she suppressed those desires because of tradition and societal viewpoints.
So she's getting all this from a reading. Whoever is giving her this stuff, I mean, whatever spirit is giving her this stuff, must have nothing else to do.
Okay, so I know how to read tarot. Like, I could do a reading right now. In fact, I'm gonna do a quick one-card reading on somebody. Somebody in chat just give me a random question. I have my tarot deck in my hands right now. I'm gonna show you how a reading goes down. Because I don't understand how she is obtaining all of this information from a reading. That doesn't make any sense on how I've been taught and how I've taught myself how to read the tarot. 100,000 for this drooling sewage content. Clout thirst is real, yeah, apparently. Source, I made it the fuck up. It's the One Piece. That is not a serious question. The One Piece is the friendship, the friends that we made along the way. How much jail will RKI get? Who's the shortest of them all? How many of us are colorblind? These are all terrible questions. These are all horrible, horrible questions. No, what is the One Piece? I hate you all. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna ask the question. You nerds. You absolute. Will my hair go white or fall out first? I wonder if that is one you could do. I don't think it is. So let's see here. You know what? Here, I'm gonna do this. Give me somebody. You expect something from chat? I do. Okay. Will I ever get married? You know what? That's a common one. Let's see here. I'll do a little 3-card rating. Okay, in your past position, you have X of luck picks. In your present position, you have 9 of arms, and in your future position, you have Queen of Arms. So, you have arms as your main suit. Give me one quick second. Let me just open this up here, and let me go to lockpicks. Lockpicks. Okay, it's X of lockpicks. In the past. And you tell me how accurate this may or may not be, it's fine. Great riches and inheritance shall be yours to claim. Your house or business will prosper after much hard work, a trophy to make the Thieves Guild proud. This tells me that you had somebody in your life that you no longer have. And this person was somebody that you thought you were going to spend your life with. Ended up not happening. Or maybe it did happen and you're fucking around with me and going, well, I get married. And I'm like, well, you're actually in a relationship, so fucking maybe. But, yeah, so I think that's what your past position says. Present position is 9 of arms. Let me check 9 of arms real quick. Here we are. Beware a great setback in your future. Leading to doubt and isolation, you may be given a heavy burden or exploited by those who hold power over you. Well, shit. This means that, there's a lot going on in your life right now, and I'm not so sure love and marriage is something that you're going to be able to acquire or look for presently, because you have other more pressing matters in your life. Now then, let's go to Queen of Arms, which is set in your future position. Alright, let's see here. Queen of Arms. Here they are. Queen of Arms is a keen and intelligent woman who knows when to be kind and when to be firm. She will give you strength in times of distress, guiding you through crushing losses and bitter sorrows. So this is telling me that while it might not be this year or anything, there is a woman in your life. In the future. Tarot is absolutely old school vague posting. And that's what I just did. But this is as specific as you can be with tarot. So why the fuck she's getting very specific fucking information from a reading is beyond me.
That she's put out work to change the narrative regarding LGBTQ community, but she was unable to follow her own advice. She tried to lead the world to a better understanding, but refused to follow it in her own heart. She knew she wanted to be a woman. Now,
mind you, she's spitting all this shit out about this Miss Schofield, who's got nothing to do with her and has got nothing to do with this homicide whatsoever. And then she's told by the cops, stop doing this. She's got nothing to do with it.
She was lesbian, but she didn't have the heart to live that life out loud. She said that she was so introspective that she lost her connection to her husband, and that she needed to focus on her finding her truth and her inner healing. So being with Kaylee will allow herself to navigate this truth. At this point, Kaylee realizes that Rebecca Schofield has cyclical behaviors. 1 minute she's one way, harmonious, love, empathy, emotions, and the next minute she...
Mind you, this is all 100% made up. This stuff is just made up out of whole cloth.
Yeah, no, this is completely out of, like, where did you get any of this information? She's like specific, oh yeah, like, I could not read the tarot and go, yeah, while I was reading the tarot, the ghost of the person who fucking died contacted me and just started yapping at me like we're having a fucking tea time. This doesn't happen. I'm so confused. She got her information from reading the cards, then holding her breath until she passed out to go on a spiritual journey of her most recent Facebook history. I think you might be right.
From spirits. I guess the spirits were lying to her.
Holy fuck.
Let's check out some evidence, the evidence that she has.
I don't show you what cards usually when I do readings, but watch this poem that somebody...
What? Okay, hold on. What was that card?
It's the evidence that she has.
I don't show you how to...
What the fuck is that? Oh, fuck you. What is this? What? Of honey? Something honey? What? Okay, hold on. Do I have it on? I have it on. Oh, no, okay. Yeah, let's get the 4K, motherfucker.
Do readings.
Milk and honor. No, milk and honey. Milk and fucking honey? Milk and what? It says milk and honey. I'm sorry, tarot. Milk and honey. There it is, got it. Oh, she's using an oracle deck. Okay, this is something I never got into. This is something I never got into. I don't want to install or anything. I just fucking... Hold on, chat. Milk and honey, milk and honey. It's making me... God damn it. Hold on, I'm not familiar with Oracle decks, so I don't know what this means, but I found the card online. Okay, tarot... no, Oracle. Oracle deck. Milk and honey, meaning... Okay, here we go. The Milk and Honey card, particularly from Colette Byron Reed's Wisdom of the Oracle deck, signifies a sweet time of prosperity, abundance, and ease. It indicates that your needs are being met, encouraging you to receive blessings, trust in the universe, and enjoy a languid, non-ambitious period of nurturing. So guys, I just read to you what this card means.
But
I figured it out. I figured out what that card she's holding right now means. Do y'all know how she got what she got from that? Because I sure as fuck don't.
watch this poem that somebody tagged me in that Kaylee wrote, and I'm going to tell you why. It's evidence in the murder of the 4 University of Idaho students.
How is the needs of everyone being met direct evidence of a murder? Are you crazy?
Most important is love. Like it's the only thing you know how. At the end of the day, all of this means nothing. This page, where we're sitting, your degree, your job, the money, nothing even matters except love and human connection.
This is one of the reasons why she irrationally felt she needed to kill. Primarily kill. Oh, there it is. You can't make these assertions, and I have no idea how you got these assertions from the cards you drew.
Love, and how deeply you love them. How you
All right, it says, this is one of the reasons why she irrationally felt she needed to kill primarily Kaylee and Madison and the other students to keep her secret lesbian experience safe. I mean, this is doing damage. I mean...
How you touch the people around you and how much you give.
So according to sources, Robert, people in her comment section kept telling her, lady, you're going to get sued for saying this stuff. You can't just go around calling somebody a homicidal maniac and not have anything to back it up. Because there's also a thing, you know, she's not a public figure, first of all. So the standard is a little bit less. You just can't do that. You just can't say what you want to hurt somebody. Have y'all noticed that Rebecca Schofield hasn't sued me? What is that called? That's called inviting trouble.
Also, have y'all noticed that I haven't been sued? So that's why some demand letters you take.
I don't. There's no way. There's no way that you're this stupid. I refuse to believe it. How in the fuck are you this stupid? No, really, I want to know. Can you show me something that's familiar about the strangers like me? All right, I did just let's continue.
It's serious, especially if you really did do something wrong. But the ones that are used as a scare tactic, okay. So I spoke too soon. This is the case request for filing for a lawsuit against.
Okay, so I spoke too soon. Yeah, you no shit, you dumb bitch.
From Rebecca Schofield. I'm not stopping, so let's just start there. But two, this is giving us information about what her alleged alibi is for the night of the murder, and now I have information about what she's saying her alibi is. I'm gonna dig deep into that too.
But don't you just need to talk to somebody in the spiritual world to figure out what the facts of the case are?
Also, why does she need 3 lawyers for me? 3 lawyers. Why does she need such a big defense team if she's so innocent? Why does she need all of that?
Because she's making sure she's gonna fucking knock your ass onto the fucking floor. Anybody look, if you can afford 3 lawyers, fucking buy 3 lawyers. Like, seriously, 3 lawyers is better than 1, and usually, when you get a lawyer, what you're doing is you're hiring their firm, or the firm that they represent. And when that happens, you usually get put into the firm's caseload, which means that you are afforded the resources of an entire law firm, not just particularly one lawyer who might be assigned to your case, which is why 3, 5, sometimes even more lawyers from a firm might show up in aid of your case.
For me.
Well, lady, you're the one that needs a defense team. Unbelievable. So here's some news coverage.
What's up?
Of the TikToker falsely accused University of Idaho professor in a murder case.
False accusations online can spread in seconds, but how long can their impacts last? In the weeks after 4 University of Idaho students were killed, a TikTok creator posted dozens of videos falsely accusing University of Idaho professor Rebecca Schofield of being involved in the murders and of having an inappropriate relationship with a student. Those videos reached millions. Those accusations led Schofield to sue, and a federal judge has already ruled the claims were defamatory. This week inside a federal courtroom in Boise, where cameras are...
I mean, it's like defamation per se. Like, this isn't even... Newport, thank you so much for being a house Carl for 13 months. That's 1 year and 1 month. That's awesome.
Aren't allowed.
Do you remember what happened with Trump when he got...
Has anyone else noticed that every nail is pink but the thumb is blue? I'm gonna have to check that out. But I don't doubt you.
Sued for defamation? For just fucking shit he said. He got an $85 million judgment.
Yeah.
That judgment's
100%.
now been collecting interest for a couple of years. And it's over $100 million. Yeah. So this is nothing to joke around about.
The defendant is representing herself, questioning witnesses.
She's representing herself.
A fucking pro se, like, in a defamation case. Because Jesus Christ.
So how's that go? He who represents himself has a fool for a client.
And even questioning herself on the stand. And jurors are...
I'm sorry. She's questioning herself on the stand? Can you imagine? Could you just, imagine that, right? She goes onto the bench, right? Right, the witness, where the witness stand? And she's sitting there, and she just looks at the empty defense table, right? And then she just suddenly runs over to the defense table and goes, "So, how long have you been?" She just, after the question, she runs back over to the witness stand and then just fixes her hair real quick and go, "Oh, I've been in that job for about 3 years now." It's just like she's literally having a full-on conversation, a full-on testimony, a direct fucking questioning with herself. I'm done. This is fucking hilarious.
Now weighing whether those false claims harm Schofield's reputation, career, or future earning potential, even after police publicly said she was not involved in the murders. She is seeking damages of up to $1.8 million.
You know, and she's representing herself, and here she is. I guarantee she didn't have the money. But here she is.
Yeah,
I just can't believe this, honestly. So this is the factual background of the case. The case arises out of a tragic murder of 4 University of Idaho students in November 2022. Rebecca Schofield is a professor at the University of Idaho. She alleges that she never met the students and was not involved in their murders in any way. Notwithstanding that, plaintiff alleges defendant Ashley Gillard posted over 100 sensational TikTok videos falsely claiming that she had an inappropriate romantic affair with one of the victims and then ordered the murders to prevent the affair from coming to light. So she initiates this complaint, and she's, sues her for defamation and damages. And here's what happens. You have the burden as a plaintiff to prove your case.
Yeah, as a plaintiff in a defamation case, you have to prove that the enemy... what did I just do? Hold on. I see what I did. There you go. You have to prove that the respondent knew, actually, we're dealing with 100,000, follower account. So yeah, this is a public figure. You have to prove as the plaintiff that the respondent not only knew that what they were saying is false, but they decided to say it anyway. They have to prove true malice. That's very difficult to prove because she could just be fucking psycho.
Case. And so you put this proof out there that none of the stuff she said is true. But then the burden shifts to her, to this Ashley, to show that what she's saying is true. And she's representing herself. Well, how the fuck is she going to do this? On February 16th, the defendant moved to set aside the entry of default because she probably didn't answer the complaint. See, when you get served a complaint, if you don't answer the complaint within the prescribed period, usually 20 days, then you win by default. So then all you have to do then is just prove your damages. On February 16th, defendant moved to set aside the entry of default. Plaintiffs responded the next day, opposing defendant's efforts to set aside the entry of default and filing a motion for default judgment on April 20th.
Oh, wait, so only when you filed for default judgment did she respond? Honestly, I would make an argument that this proves that this lady is, this should not be happening. This should just be declared, I just want default judgment. I want summary judgment. I just want you to say, yes, this is defamatory. Pay this man this much, or this woman, whoever.
Before 2023, the parties
No, she's not a public figure. TikToker is. I know, that's the thing. The TikToker is being sued. The TikToker is a public figure. You have to prove, as the plaintiff in this situation, you have to prove malice. Because the person you are suing is a public... Oh, wait, no. I'm dumb, I have it backwards. What the fuck? Ignore me. Wow, okay, that wine actually did hit me. Wait, did it? Oh, shit. Wait, no, now I'm looking things up. Hold on.
Sent it to the undersigned jurisdiction. Thereafter, April 26, 2023, the court granted defendant's motion to set aside the default, denied plaintiff's motion for default judgment as moot, and ordered the defendant to respond. So what happens sometimes, okay, I didn't answer. The court, enters a default judgment against me. Then I say, oh, wait a second, I'm really sorry. I should have answered. Set it aside. So that's kind of what happened here. So she finally answers, and her affirmative defense is, that's when you say, why I shouldn't be held accountable for this. And then she counterclaims. Counterclaims. What did she counterclaim? She didn't even fucking know this, Brian.
Yeah, I had it completely backwards. What the fuck? Jesus. How did I do that? How the fuck did I do that? That's funny. I caught myself
with her
halfway
answer
through,
to and counterclaim. Defendant denied that she defamed plaintiff because the accusations made against plaintiff in defendant TikTok's videos are substantially true. I think the only thing that she said was true is that she's a professor at the University of Idaho. Defendant maintained that she used her spiritual brain, her intuition, spiritual practice, and investigative skills to uncover the truth regarding the murder of the 4 Idaho students, even though we have somebody that fucking pled guilty to
Go
it.
drunk, you're home.
And published her findings on her TikTok media platform. Defendant also firmly asserted 11 counterclaims. What the fuck could she have a counterclaim against her for? So on June
That's for 11, Jesus.
6, 2023, plaintiff moved to dismiss defendant's counterclaims against her. A week later, plaintiff moved to quash the summons for her counsel, arguing that their issuance was procedurally improper. Defendant opposed each of these motions. So you get the gist. So she's representing herself. She's nuts. She's got a spiritual brain that somehow is able to...
She got that spiritual brain, guys.
...give the truth about this. So let's see, we've got some commentary after court.
All right, so we just got out of court here in Boise.
Atozy, no way! Who said that? Somebody said that Atozy had actually went to the court and reported on this. And here we are having CLR Bruce Rivers actually platform Atozy's video. That's fucking awesome to see.
Idaho for the TikTok Psychics case, and she lost massively. I have never seen a defamation case this big, because she now has to pay the professor $10 million. $5 million of those dollars are in punitive damages just alone.
So punitive damages.
Oh, shit. There might have been a public figure thing. Look, a professor of a university might, depending on the state, be considered a public figure. So I might not have been wrong in what I was saying. I just had it reverse the process. But the fact is, it looks like the TikToker and the professor would both qualify, in my opinion, as public figures, especially if it's a professor at a university.
Are meant to send a message. The brazen nature of this broad to not stop when she had information to say.
I guess it depends if it's like what university. If it's a private university, maybe not.
Just that whatever thing she said was bullshit. That's a problem for her. And punitive damages, you don't have to prove.
He said he wasn't. Oh, okay. He would know more.
You know, dollar for dollar. Those are meant to punish.
So, I mean, this is insane. And this is just a massive lesson to, hey, maybe it's a really bad idea to accuse an innocent professor of committing a quadruple homicide and having some relationship with one of their students. Who would have thought that would be a bad idea? But she didn't only do that. No, she did that repeatedly, over and over and over.
And that's why she got those punies.
She might be now, though. Yeah, no, for real.
But still, she got $5 million in punies and $5 million in compensatory damages. It was like a stone in my chest that was not crushing me. It was dissolving me, the professor told the court, visibly choked up. I was unraveling underneath the weight of it. You know, think about it. Somebody's doing this every day, and people are kind of coming to you and saying, is this true? Are you really a lesbian? Are you? I mean, it assaults your very soul. We felt personally targeted.
Yeah, no, it's look, like all things aside, and whether or not justice was, like, obtained here, let's be real. This is completely unhinged, fucked behavior that no one should have to be on the receiving end of. More par Newport. In all reality, at least in USA, Eva, when it's those big million numbers, does any money actually change hands? Because here in Canada, getting judgments, at least in civil court, means nada. Well, I don't think the full amount is going to be paid. Like, I really don't think. But they are a psychic TikToker. I'm assuming they're relatively successful with a following of more than 100,000. They might not be able to pay the full amount, but they might be able to pay a decent amount before being declared indignant. I'm not really sure how, yeah, this is an issue. How is the money going to be given to the professor? I don't think she's going to get all of it.
Feel added of her family, raising her voice at Gillard as she spoke. The jurors deliberated for just under 2 hours, handing down their decision.
Wow, 2-hour deliberation. That took nothing. That was like, nah, okay, guys, we just need to be in here just to, enjoy your free lunch and stuff, but, we're all voting guilty, right?
Which awarded the professor a far more than what her attorneys had asked for. They were probably pissed at her. I remember asking for a lot of money from a jury in a civil case, and I gave them a range, but my client was so amazed. And the other side. Really.
Yeah, sorry. I meant indigenous. Shut up. Shut up. Ravenfire's here, correcting all my mushmouth mistakes. And honestly, I'm feeling very scared and unsafe.
Tried to demonize my client, and when they do that, the jury is in the position to right things, right? The 7-member jury, you don't get 12 in a civil case, composed of 4 women, 3 men, ruled unanimously for the dollar figure directed to Schofield. The bulk sum was $7.5 million. Is for punitive damages, which are intended to punish the defendant and deter her and others from similar behavior.
Yeah, but how is she coming up with $7.5 million?
In the future. You think she's all smug and still posting this shit now? I would hope not. The remainder of the damages were compensatory, meaning they covered actual losses, including economic loss, such as medical bills, non-economic loss, such as mental health, emotional pain and suffering.
Mental anguish.
The hubris
like that,
of some people until they get punched back in the nose is astounding. So let's see what her reaction is. And I can tell you this is going to be funny just by looking at her hands on her face.
People are coming to my page to see my response or to get information regarding how I feel about the $10 million verdict that was awarded to.
Of course they are. You know why? Because your life is online. Everyone's been following this for a while, so yeah, they're gonna look. It's like someone coming up to you and asking you, and they're a part of the media. This is kind of just part of it.
Rebecca Schofield. First, my thoughts are it's just slightly irritating because
getting a $10 million judgment against you is slightly irritating.
Yeah, slightly irritated.
When you're detached from reality, you don't know what the fuck is going on, and that's really what's going on with her. She's not attached to reality.
I was ready for this to be over. I wanted to receive a verdict that was fair and impartial and based on the evidence. And unfortunately, that did not happen. And because the jury could not be fair and impartial and base their decision on the evidence,
always blame the jury when things don't go your way. I'm sure that's gonna help.
We have to keep going. Now.
So guess what? So if she wants to appeal this, she has to put up a bond.
She can.
$10 million bond. You think she look at her house? You think she can afford?
That's right. That's kind of one of the great things, right? She can't appeal this unless she has the money up for the payment for the damages. So unless she can get together a $10 million bond, this isn't being appealed. Which, that's kind of what's amazing about it. Is okay, you want to appeal? You're more than welcome to after you actually fulfill what the court has ordered and found. So that's pretty honestly awesome, because there's no way she's going to pay off this $10 million debt to this professor.
For a $10 million bond? I don't think so.
Instead of this being over, we have to go through a process of motions and appeals so that we can get to a fair and impartial decision. So now, this creates more work for me, but I'm so bitter because it's not my job. It's not my job. This is Moscow Police Department, FBI, whoever's doing this case, that's their job. This is not my case. This is not my case. But now I have to deal with this case because I have to protect myself. I put myself in this position to try and overstepping boundaries. And help people who do not deserve my.
An appeal would absolutely be denied. I doubt anything went wrong procedurally, or the judge behaved in any way that would open this up for appeal.
No people in this world deserve my help, is what I'm saying. So I should not even have done this.
Appeal bonds do suck, but they exist solely, pretty much for this reason. Because, trust me, you know what would be much more of a headache? This bitch being allowed to appeal for free.
So I should not even have done this. I gave them the murderers. I gave them the motives. I gave them the...
So I don't know who did this, but this is fantastic. I mean,
yeah,
you pull out the language in here. I shouldn't have even done this. No shit. And they told you not to.
Who was me, why, and how? I should also have to give you evidence.
I'm sure plenty of people told her.
I should also have to give you evidence. This is negative trend.
I love that.
People who claim I don't have evidence. But when I try to get evidence, they try to fight me from giving me evidence. But then also claiming to be innocent. And also claiming that what I'm saying is false. Using the fact that I don't have evidence. But using the fact that I don't have evidence.
Oh my god.
You don't have any evidence. All you have is your spiritual advisors, you know? I woke up this morning after having a dream, and I dreamt about you. And I dreamt you're never going to fucking pay this judgment because you don't have any money. So here's what happens.
Yeah.
When you can't pay a judgment, it becomes a default judgment, right? And it just becomes a judgment. And if you come into some money, they can attach that. Or if you're working, they can attach your wages. But they can only take so much. And they're not going to ever come close to $10 million. Unless she gets back on TikTok.
There's some stuff that they can do. It's kind of like child support payments and stuff like that, right? There's ways that they can get some money from you. This judgment is going to be following this TikToker around probably for the rest of her life, because I don't see her paying this off within her lifetime.
And decides that she wants to defame somebody else. She certainly had to make some money off of TikTok, and she, and getting on those videos.
Yeah, they could garner.
I do it all the time. It's addictive to look at comments and so I have to kind of not look at them for a while, because otherwise, you get people saying you're great. You have some people saying you're not so great. And you really, in the long and short of it is, we put this channel out there to be factual, to be educational, entertaining, because we make fun of people. Like Robert, behind the camera. It is what it is, You don't hear me
behind the camera
spouting off saying X, Y, and Z is true. We did that thing on Kurt Cobain. And I think at the end of the day, I said, I didn't say anything that wasn't true. I got a call from a guy who said he interviewed the person that actually killed, Kurt Cobain. It's like, okay, you think I'm going to report that? No, because it's probably nut job city.
You guys are crazy if you're actually trying to fucking get lawyers to report on, yeah, I just had an interview with the guy who actually killed Kurt Cobain. You're crazy. That's not happening.
And that's what this is. She's just isolated. She's doing her
I was told by the ghosts of Abraham Lincoln that they were gay, Your Honor.
own thing. She's okay. Now today we're gonna talk. I talked to my spirit. I got my tarot cards here, and I'm talking to my spiritual advisor. They told me that Robert no longer likes to suck cock. Well, that's not true. Robert really loves cock. You can't just make stuff up, you know. And all of a sudden you're gonna have to pay the piper. And so I guarantee you that wasn't fun for her to sit through that trial. But she had nothing to back up anything she said, and she damaged this woman. You know, the other case that we should follow is this Candace Owens.
I'm gonna have to be careful here. So everybody, Kurt Cobain, shut up. Okay, so for those who are having trouble with YouTube not letting them type, you need to be extremely careful with your word choice. YouTube doesn't like very simple words, even words like gun abuse, stuff like that, anything that can be construed as an insult. You have to be very careful with how you do this.
Accusing Macron's wife of being a man, and she's being sued by them. So, but it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. People have to be careful what they.
Yeah, see how Ravenfire did it? I thought Cobain's death was ruled autocide. Autocide is not something that the YouTube bots are probably going to catch on, but we all know what it means.
They say, you know, and just make sure you.
I will one more time point out a third to half of North America is simply not tied to what is reality. That is true.
That you believe what you're saying. That's really the long and short of it, because it's that malicious intent. She was warned over and over again to stop posting this video about Miss Schofield because they weren't fucking true. And you had somebody who admitted to it. She was advised by the police department. Miss Schofield's got nothing to do with this whatsoever. But she ignored that. And it's that brazen nature that gave her the $7.5 million punitive damages, you know, and $2.5 million in compensatory damages, you know, and she's not going to be able to appeal this because you have to put up a bond, an appeal bond. I mean, that's one of the reasons that we wound up settling the big case that I had. We got a $35 million judgment. It was about to exceed $50 million because we had all this prejudgment interest, and they were going to have to post a superseding bond. And so we wound up actually collecting. Robert just raised a point about Alex Jones. That's a perfect example.
Yeah, that is a great good one.
Spewing bullshit and really hurting people and really hurting these families at Sandy Hook. And they got over $1 billion judgment on him. And when they did that, so he actually has some assets. They're going through it and taking his studio, taking this, taking that. Anytime you'll make money, you know, they can, you know, glob onto it. She, on the other hand, what are you going to take? Her car?
She don't got shit. Yeah, she doesn't have much.
Honda Civic, you know? I mean, what are we going to take from her? You know, and there's limits. You know, you can't take somebody's home. You can only take so much of their income. It's gotten her to stop doing this shit, didn't it? And I think to some point it could become criminal harassment, you know, because you're bullying online is really what you're doing. So it's just a word of the wise. If you're starting your own podcast or your TikTok or, you know, social media, make sure what you say is true, you know, and make sure you don't hurt people. You know, we don't try to hurt people unless they're worthy of being hurt. No, we don't try to hurt people on this channel. We do make fun of some people. So it's just too easy sometimes. So I apologize if I've offended anybody. Yeah. So just be careful out there. So we'll see you next.
There you go, guys. That is the video. All right, chat. Thank you very much. It's been just over 3 hours. We are going to we're going to actually shift over and move over to Kick. If one of my mods in the chat could post a link to my Kick stream, we're gonna be in there in like 5 minutes. Maybe it depends. But we're gonna be over there watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood with Mama Oko. If you like the content here, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell as hard as you possibly can, and we will, of course, see you all in the next one.